You're listening to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. Congratulations. We're all winners here, but congratulations also to Camel Knees over on Twitch for the first comment of the day award. Oh, good old job there, Twitch. You made it. Okay, folks. Well, as your today's reminder, you're going to want to make sure to follow us in multiple platforms. That includes youtube.com/canarycryradio, twitch.tv/canarycryradio. We're also on DLive and Periscope, and we're all over the place. So make sure to follow us on multiple platforms so that you never miss a show. We've been getting YouTube's been getting a little rowdy on us recently. So if you want to make sure that we don't disappear from your feed, go ahead and follow us in multiple locations so you never miss a show. Okay, folks, as usual, I want to thank our producers for this show. We'll be thanking them later on. And this is going to be an interesting one. About halfway through after the break, we're going to be joined by Archeologic from Destiny Labs. It's gonna be fun. He's gonna be sitting in the third chair and going over some more news. Okay, folks, let's get going.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is March 5th, 2021. Today, episode 308. And today, shift your paradigm with Ark from Destiny Lab. And you know me, I am not a drunken Congress person, but I am your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we praise Jesus while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And I'm glad you're not drunk, Basil.
Yeah, nor am I a congressperson. So
that's
win.
more of a happy thing, I guess. How was your couple days here?
Couple days. Oh, just busy. I mean, the usual stuff. The only notable thing is, our longtime listeners know I like to experiment with things like nootropics and alpha brain and things to, keep the brain ticking the way it's supposed to. I'm trying out a new one today. I'm not gonna lie, I feel kind of weird. So we'll see how the show goes. Yeah.
Great. Before I tell you a couple things that I had a weird couple days, I do want to remind everybody to like, subscribe, bell button, all. Like, subscribe, bell button, all. Because one of our videos on the Canary Cry Radio YouTube page got deleted, or one of our videos, episode 304. Got deleted, and we got a warning strike for reporting on the Crowder, Louder with Crowder stuff about the elections and the addresses that don't exist or whatever.
Yeah.
They just straight out deleted our video. It was like, you guys violated community guidelines. What do you have to say about it? So I responded in the little box they give you. I said, we're a news and commentary show. We didn't make any claims about the election. All we did was report on others who also weren't making claims about the outcome of the election, although they kind of are, but legally they were not. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but this is why you want to go to canarycrynewstalk.com, subscribe through our email list, even though we don't really spam you guys with the emails. It's a way to make sure to stay connected and find out if we do get taken down, we'll let everybody know via email how to find our show, or you can just go to Canary Cry News Talk or canarycryradio.com You get all the details.
No, that's actually a good point. We do have an email list, and we occasionally send out emails to our peeps there, but we don't really push the email list very often, mainly because we don't send a lot of emails. But I guess that's good news. We won't spam you too hard or anything. But yeah, I'm constantly trying to remind people you want to follow us in multiple locations because unfortunately, it's probably just a matter of time before we disappear from your favorite way to listen to us. Make sure to follow the RSS feed. Just start getting used to using a podcast player or podcast catcher. But also, if you doubly want to make sure you stay connected, if we suddenly disappear, head on over and join the email list. We promise our habits, our work ethic does not allow us to send off too many emails. We will not spam you. But that would be kind of the first place to get notified if things change and how to listen to the show.
Yeah, the Eye of Sauron has been on us, I guess, recently because yesterday I got jailed. I went into Twitter jail for about 12 hours.
Oh, nice.
And it was because I violated policy on spreading misleading and potentially harmful information regarding COVID-19.
What'd you do?
I responded to, there was a Hill article that was quoting Fauci about one thing or another. And I just, I said in a nutshell, the NIH, Fauci is director, owns patent for mRNA technology. They helped fund Moderna. DARPA/BARPA paid money, billions for Moderna vax.
Which is all reported facts and not fake news.
Nope.
That comes all from mainstream, sources. Available sources.
Yeah, and then NIH, NIAID earns royalty money from owning mRNA technology patent. Documented sources here. Banned, jailed, go away.
Oh, bummer.
The joke, I'm sure other people have joked about this, but the potentially harmful information is, yes, potentially harmful for the totalitarian controllers who want to control the narrative. This information is harmful for them. So,
yeah,
I can understand being jailed, but I think I'm getting spiritually attacked as well, one way or another. Because have you ever slipped on banana peels, Basil?
No, that's just something for cartoons and bad comics. Nobody has ever slipped. No.
False.
No.
I was walking to a grocery store, and on the way in, I slipped on banana peels, and I slid probably a good, 4, 5, 6 feet maybe. Fell on my tuchus, and it was I couldn't. When it happened, I wasn't sure what was going on. I was like, what? and I realized, once I lost my balance and I went down, I just went down and I slid for a while. So I was like, what is this? Did I hit ice? That was my first thought. Ice? In Southern California? What is going on?
That's probably more likely than what actually happened.
Yeah. And I looked down and banana peels or just squashy banana everywhere.
Uh-oh, Guns. You know what that means?
What?
You're a cartoon character.
Oh.
Cartoon character exposed.
And I looked down at my leg, and it wasn't too bad, a little scratched up. My shoe was completely covered in banana. So there's that. That was fun.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. And my whole backside was covered in banana. These are my my cool shorts covered in banana afterwards, for those of you watching on the live stream there. I walked into the store. I must have looked like an insane person. It's like
a cartoon character.
Like a cartoon character, yeah. But I couldn't believe it. And actually there was a little kid there, the guy that rounds up all the carts from the parking lot.
Sure.
He was like, You okay, man? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Why is there a big pile of bananas on the street? He's like, oh, let me get you some napkins. He got me some of the wet wipes. Actually, it wasn't even napkins. And I think he was a little freaked out, because he wasn't sure, like, am I going to sue them or whatever? But I was just kind of like, look, hey, guy, just clean it up, okay? Make sure nobody else slips on the bananas there.
Hey, cart boy.
Yeah,
cart boy.
Cart boy.
Do your joy.
I mean,
your job.
I don't understand how Like, what happened? What happened here? What do you think is the theory? Did somebody set this up? Do you think somebody
I
just
think
dropped bananas?
You got punked, man.
I got punked. Where's Ashton Kutcher?
What you forgot to do is look around, because if there was a man in a gorilla outfit,
it was the vaccinated ape.
There's cameras involved. Yes,
it was the vaccinated ape playing a trick on me.
Oh yeah, well we'll certainly get into that. The vaccine has increased their intelligence and their lust for hijinks.
Apparently. Anyway, that's
I have a quick question, Gons.
Sure.
Ever since we mentioned it, I've been trying to figure out how to join the newsletter, and I don't know how to do it. It certainly can't be easy for somebody else.
Are you talking about the email list?
Yeah.
Okay, you go to Canary Cry News Talk, and you scroll down.
Let's all do it together.
And here, let me. Actually,
because I was over there, I didn't see it.
There is a thing. There's a little trick. Maybe I do need to fix it, because you scroll all the way down, you'll see it. Join email list, and then more episodes will pop up, and so it's
you gotta catch it.
You gotta
really
catch
quick.
it. Yeah, you gotta jump on it.
Or we should probably make that a little easier.
Or if you just click into an episode, like any episode, it's more of a static page, so you can just click into an episode and scroll all the way down, and it won't start running away.
Okay.
Your email address there and hit subscribe.
Well, there you go, folks. Head on over to canarycrynewstalk.com and join the email list. Like you said, if you want to play a fun game of cat and mouse with the sign up, you can try to scroll down to the bottom of the main page, or just go ahead and click into an episode. We'll make that a little easier for those who don't want to make it into a game.
Yeah.
Okay, well, sounds good. Sorry about your bananas. Sorry about your shorts, Gons.
I'm good. I'm okay. A little scrapped up, but I'm okay. And today we're going to have Ark from Destiny Lab. He'll join us on the second half of the show. So look out for that. We got some good stories to cover with him. But for the first half, we're just going to go through a normal type of show here. So
yeah, let's do it. And because it is a normal type of show, let's go ahead and talk about Flippy.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, if you're new to the show, here's what's what. Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a proxy conversation to explore all the new and exciting ways that robots and AI are taking over the world, and there's nothing we can do about it. Now, today, folks, sorry, Flippy, take a knee, Flippy. Today, we're talking about Spot, and of course, our listeners know Spot is the Boston Dynamics yellow robot dog. Famously, Jeff Bezos, his best friend, is a robot dog named Spot. And Boston Dynamics, and more recently, Cuomo, the police dog, the robot police dog being used by the NYPD, where they exclaim passionately that Cuomo is not yet armed and dangerous.
Well, that's good.
Yet being the operative word. But Gons,
keep those women safe.
It's not far. What?
Nothing.
It's not far off. Because today, I'm taking a story from robotics.news. Headline: Watch live. Boston Dynamics Spot robot goes on rampage with paintball gun. That's right. Let's see here. Oh, this is a crazy thing. Oh, my gosh. So it starts with the updates. I don't know if I want to start with the updates. A company called Mischief has been responsible for the most absurd viral stunts and products throughout the internet. Their products range from a squeaking rubber chicken bong for smoking weed to Nike sneakers filled with holy water to a YouTube channel dedicated to a man eating mayonnaise. Mischief's latest stunt debuts Wednesday, February 24th. This is a little bit old. Beginning at 1300 Eastern Time, the company allegedly bought a Boston Dynamics Spot robot and mounted a paintball gun to it. See, that's weird. I don't think you can buy Spot. I think you have to lease Spot. So maybe this was a black market Spot.
No, you can buy Spot.
Can you? Did they open up the options?
We reported on it, didn't we? It was like 70 grand.
Yeah, they were doing it just as a lease originally. So, but anyways, tomorrow's live stream event will allow attendees randomly selected to control the dystopic robot for 2 minutes. Those selected will be able to shoot a 68 caliber paintball gun mounted to spot and aim at anything in an unknown art gallery for 2 minutes. To summarize the company's manifesto, it said, quote, "See spot kill. Spot is an empathy-building tool because cute and approachable." Here's the manifesto. See Spot run. It tops out at a blistering 3 miles per hour. See Spot roll over. Spot is an empathy missile, shaped like man's best friend and targeted straight at our fight or flight instinct. When killer robots come to America, they will be wrapped in fur carrying a ball. Spot is Rob Reinhardt's ideal pet. It never poops. Good boy, Spot. Everyone in this world takes one look at a little spot and knows this thing will definitely be used by police and the military to murder people. And what do police departments have? Strong unions. Spot is Employee of the Month. You never need to union bust a robot, but a robot can union bust you. The manifesto continued, quote, Boston Dynamics and they hated this idea. They said the robotics company even offered them 2 free robots to call off the event. Quote, "See Spot kill. Spot is an empathy-building tool because cute and approachable. We talked with Boston Dynamics and they hated this idea. They said that they would give us another 2 spots for free if we took the gun off. That just made us want to do this even more. And if our Spot stops working, just know they have a backdoor override built into each and every one of these little robots. See Spot fall over and freak out. Quite an experience to live in fear, isn't it? That's what it is to be a slave. Our saving grace. Spot is evil, but not very good at its job."
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's very interesting. Now, hold on. There's a little bit more.
All right.
Boston Dynamics wasn't thrilled with the stunt. They released this statement last week. This is a statement released on the Boston Dynamics Twitter page. I will open it directly from Twitter here, if the internet can go. Thank you very much. Today, we learned that an art group is planning a spectacle to draw attention to a provocative use of our industrial robot Spot. To be clear, we condemn the portrayal of our technology in any way that promotes violence, harm, or intimidation. Our mission is to create and deliver surprisingly capable robots that inspire, delight, and positively impact society. We take great care to make sure our customers intend to use our robots for legal uses. We cross-check every purchase request against the U.S. government's denied persons and entities list prior to authorizing a sale. In addition, all buyers must agree to our terms and conditions of sale, which state that our products must be used in compliance with the law and cannot be used to harm or intimidate people or animals. Any violation of our terms of sale will automatically void the product's warranty. Oh, no. And prevent the robot from being updated, serviced, repaired, or replaced. Provocative art can help push useful dialogue about the role of technology in our daily lives. This art, however, fundamentally misrepresents Spot and how it is being used to benefit our daily lives. So that was the actual response from Boston Dynamics.
Triggered.
Just to finish out the article, Mischief said the only losers of the event would be the human race when the remote-operated dogs of war become commonplace. As these war dogs become fixtures of militaries and militarized police, we will all learn a new meaning of fear, an oppressor who can pull the trigger without even needing to be physically present. So I thought this was very interesting. I'm kind of sad that I missed the event. It was held last month. I would have loved to get in on this. And I got to say, I think this worked out perfectly because, of course, we've been talking about the weaponization of Spot since the very beginning. But Boston Dynamics, they really play coy with this idea. You know, it's like they don't even want to talk about or recognize that these Spot robots can be weaponized, and you can tell by their response, their press release there. They're just offended by the very idea that it would even cross somebody's mind that Spot could be used for something other than, I don't know, making banana pancakes. And so, I don't know anything about this mischief little collective here, but I really enjoy how they triggered Boston Dynamics, showed them for what they are, and you know what? They brought a lot of attention to the fact that it's only a matter of time. A mischievous art collective can weaponize these robots, then certainly anybody else who purchases one could do the same. And when the consequences, the punishment for weaponizing your Spot is your warranty is voided, I don't think that's enough to really scare off somebody trying to weaponize these things.
Yeah, it's a pretty scary threat there.
Yeah.
You won't be able to upgrade your Spot.
Yeah, your automatic software updates will stop. How do you like that?
Chilipine in the chat had a brilliant idea that I think is one of our exit strategies. Basil, we can do maybe like one of those fundraiser things out of it. A poop scooping spot. So you have your dog, but then it's like you have two dogs. You have a spot dog, and the spot dog picks up the poop for you instead of you doing it. And goes to the trash.
I think you're onto something.
That is an exit strategy. That's brilliant. Chilipine. Your lead tech on that project.
Lead tech. I think Spot out of the box, as long as you purchase the ARM edition, the ARM upgrade, I think out of the box it would do that.
Ultibox in the chat is saying they already have that, so yeah, figures. It's a good idea.
Nuts. Late again, guns.
I know. Outdone.
Yeah, so there you go. I'm kind of jealous. I would love to do something that would spark a public response from Boston Dynamics.
We can do, whatever. This is the thing. I know it costs $70,000 to get one of these, but anything you do, because it's kind of a novelty right now, it's becoming a thing. People aren't used to it yet. Any kind of public stunt, you're gonna get some kind of PR from it,
Yeah,
it's good. Maybe it's good PR for Canary Cry News Talk if we do something with a Spot, but you got to think of something good and something that will not harm the robot, because then you're a bad person.
Yeah,
our warranty will be void.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to. The paintball gun is perfect. It was a perfect display because it is harmless. Paintball guns. They're not completely harmless, but they didn't really put a flamethrower, missile launcher, or a real gun on it, so you can it's still playful. But the paintball gun, it's unmistakably gun shaped. So
yeah, that's what triggered them probably. The gun can literally be a little cat paw that comes out that pets you or something, but because it's in a gun shape, they're like,
yeah,
warranty
and
void.
If I'm not mistaken, with my very small knowledge of paintball guns, it looks like a Titman 98, some sort of Titman model paintball gun. There you go, all you paintball gunners out there. Okay, so there you go. And it's interesting. I don't know. I think if we could gather up $75,000, we got to think of something similar to a paintball gun. But I don't know. Maybe the weaponization art project has already been done. Maybe we need to put like a net and go out to the park and try to catch small children or something.
We'll have Spot have a little the donation plate. Just strap it onto its back, and then it'll walk down. A tithe plate, and it'll walk down the pews. Yeah, that'll really confuse the congregation there. Okay, we have a bunch of 33 updates, which tap into whole different lots of different types of stories, but interesting, a lot of politic related stuff here today.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
33 is the Illuminati dog whistle. They use a number to signal to each other or to others or someone. I don't know. They just happen to use it all the time in headlines. This one is from westernjournal.com. Biden sets humiliating record just 43 days into office.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
President Joe Biden, whose administration vowed to bring transparency to the White House, has shattered a century-old record for consecutive days without facing reporters alone or holding a solo news conference. That information was widely reported by CNN White House reporter Kevin Liptak, who noted that within the last 100 days, no other American president has gone longer than 33 days after an inauguration without a formal media briefing.
Yeah, interesting. He hasn't gotten up and done a formal media briefing at all, right?
Well, wasn't that last? Well, I guess not an in-person media thing. He did do that live stream where they shut the live stream off. Is that considered a public briefing?
I don't think so because, well, I don't really know. Does it define that? I think the official media briefings are when he goes into the actual press room and answers questions. And as we saw on that, I don't think we have the clip, do we?
We don't, but we can pull it up. Yeah,
I mean, it'd be pretty easy to pull up. Yeah, we didn't add it as part of the show, but might as well while we're on the topic. So there's been a couple of these live streams. The White House has been doing a lot of these live streams, but has not let Biden into the official media, the press briefing room. And I think it's because they don't want him to answer any questions, because, of course, he can't answer any questions, as is evident by one of these live streams that he did.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up here. I think this is it. All right, here we go. This is the video clip. Let's watch. Oh, it's on Rumble. Oh, come on. Give me the actual video. Twitter. Did they scrap it on Twitter? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it was floating around Twitter. That's when I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier on Twitter because...
While you look for it real quick, just because I saw some questions in the chat, we did announce the silver giveaway winner last episode. But William M., if you're out there, I sent you a message. You gotta get back to us, buddy. I don't know. We've never had a giveaway winner not respond. So if you're listening to the show, William M., check your messages. I sent you a message. I don't know. We'll have to put some sort of time limit, because if William M., if we never hear from him again, we might have to pick a new winner.
Yep. Here's Biden finishing his little live stream, and well, here it is.
Thank you. And I'm happy to take questions if that's what I'm supposed to do, Nance, whatever you want me to do.
And then he's sitting there staring at the camera, and they end the stream.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you can't answer any questions, Biden.
No, Joe. No answering questions. Yeah, so very interesting that no other president had gone more than 33 days. It's almost like, the illumined ones were like, it has been 33 days. You must speak or else. But then with Joe, he's like, I'll speak. I'll speak. Come on, man. So,
just let me answer questions.
Just let me answer some questions, man.
I promise.
I'm good at questions. Come on, man. All right,
Dog
so I have
pony soldier.
I got more 33 updates here. This one, we have a Cuomo ISO here.
I touched inappropriately.
Governor Cuomo announces event, arts, and entertainment venues can reopen at 33% capacity beginning April 2nd.
Ooh.
It's according to governor.ny.gov, trying to get any kind of spotlight off of his allegations there. Me Too, says a few women, but, they don't want to. If it's against a Democrat, then it didn't happen.
Yeah, well, interesting how, of course, he's in the heat of battle trying to defend against the fact that he, basically purposefully killed a bunch of elderly people in New York and hid it purposefully again. and lied about it over and over. And then, what better way to distract from that than to have some Me Too allegations come up that you can spend the rest of the month denying, and people will just forget about your murderous rampage.
Yeah, but then also open things back up. Earn some points. Get people working again. We need them distracted. We don't need them paying attention to the news. Sitting at home, paying attention to what we're doing, but only 33%.
Yeah. Well, also just real quick, while we're on that, we were talking about Texas opening up all businesses, taking away state mandates. Again, just not saying don't wear a mask, just saying, hey, Texans are grown-ups and they can make the decision for themselves. Right. If you want to wear a mask, cool. If you want to open your business, you are allowed to make people wear masks in your business. And if they don't want to, they'll go somewhere else. That's just business. I just thought the timing was interesting because, of course, the Snowmageddon over there in Texas, had some bad PR for the great state of Texas, and the lifting of the mask mandates and other COVID lockdowns, was some good PR to combat the previous few weeks of PR. But again, the lifting of the mask mandate is not just happening in Texas. There's
Connecticut,
12
I think.
States.
Yeah, a whole bunch of other states are doing it.
So again, Texas gets they get a lot of airtime in the media. And again, look, I love Texas. I love our Texas listeners. But there's plenty of states doing similar stuff.
Yeah, it's almost like they were waiting to pull this political card when they needed to, when they're in hot water.
Right.
To distract people. But there's more 33 updates. This one from mercurynews.com. We've been tracking the Myanmar story. It says here, Myanmar forces reportedly kill at least 33 protesters.
Oh, of course.
Interesting.
They couldn't just say 34.
Yeah, they couldn't say 34, 35. It's at least 33. Yeah, and security forces dramatically escalated their crackdowns on protests against last month's coup, killing at least 33 protesters Wednesday in several cities, according to accounts on social media and local news reports compiled by a data analyst. Well, maybe that data analyst is working for the illumined ones.
All data analysts are, guys.
Apparently. That's not all. Do you remember the Smashing Pumpkins, Basil?
Mm-hmm.
Despite of my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we think outside the cage here, folks, so we're not a rat in the cage. Loudersound.com. Smashing Pumpkins have started work on their 33-track new album.
That's too many tracks for an album.
Billy Corgan and Co. His band, begin work on monster sequel to Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, what year was that? 99? 2000?
I don't know. I'm not a huge Smashing Pumpkins aficionado.
Yeah, let me see what year that thing was. Because to call it a sequel, what year? Hold on. Now I'm curious. It was a long time ago. I'll tell you that. I was a young lad. 1995. So
26 years, 25 years.
Yeah, 25, 26 years. Okay, that's a long time for a sequel, Billy Corgan. But yeah, and that was a double album, I think. I think that thing had a whole bunch of songs on it.
Okay.
So, there you go. And I'm sure he'll be talking about all kinds of transhuman stuff and occult stuff because he's into that. And,
I just can't wait.
Yeah. 33 tracks, just a signal to the controllers there. And one more. Did I actually? Oh, that's why. Okay, this one's less important. Mercedes-Benz.com. You know about that car, Basil? Mercedes-Benz.
Yes. You heard about this? You seen this? Mercedes-Benz.
Seen the Mercedes-Benz. Visit us digitally. The museum is closed. Oh, that's not it. Here it is. The 33 extras at the Mercedes-Benz Museum. So I didn't know there was a Mercedes-Benz museum, first off.
What are extras at a museum?
Yeah, so...
Like actors?
The 33 extras are a particular highlight. They are distributed throughout the entire museum and can bring the history of personal mobility and motoring culture to life using details that are often surprising. The 33 extras have been divided into 3 episodes with thematic focuses. The first episode, Cars and Technology, has been published. The topics, vehicle and everyday culture and people and mobility, will follow in the near future. So, they just have like a little history lesson on mud guards. First one here, hand crank.
Yeah, okay. So it's going through all the different little aspects of the automobile that we have come to take for granted, but are, I don't know, museum worthy.
Yeah,
the
so
steering wheel is on the list, so that's good.
Well, there's a guy with a hand crank next to one of the, obviously like the engine buttons we have now in the cars. So, and then a microchip. It's a big one. Microchip.
Okay.
There was one more. Yeah, steering wheel and pedals. Yeah, it's
so
pretty
saying
generic.
If we drive a car, we're in the Illuminati.
If you drive a Mercedes, or if you go to the Mercedes Museum, at least you will be told about the history through 33 extras.
If you have a steering wheel in your car, you are part of the beast system.
That's not what I'm saying, but okay. All right.
No, that's what they're saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they want to.
Yes.
They want to beast up everybody.
Mm-hmm. Beast them up. Beast them up. Beast them out.
That's all my 33 updates for today.
All right. Well, let's jump into some POLYTICK.
Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood. Now suck
Politics.
your blood.
Politics.
Okay, well, I don't think we could possibly start the POLYTICK section without checking in with old Nancers.
Nancers, what's she have to say?
Well, nobody knows.
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to play the clip. You stepped all over it.
That's okay. We're professionals. We can keep it moving.
In order to open these doors, we do not say open sesame. We say open Biden. That's our magic word.
What?
Open Biden. I love it.
She must. You're right. I think she's reading a comment or something.
It looks like it. Now, this clip is going around. It's about 10 seconds long. And, as always sort of annoys me, when it's a 10-second long clip and you don't get the context on the beginning or the end, it's really easy to make somebody sound crazy or say something that, whatever, just out of context or whatever. It just makes it much easier to complain about them. I mean, for instance, take me earlier in the Flippy update talking about equipping Spot with a net to catch children in a park. Could definitely be taken the wrong way.
Yeah.
But so, I actually looked around. I was looking for the longer clip. I cannot find it anywhere, though.
It's a live stream on whitehouse.gov, which I guess they've been doing a lot more of recently, apparently.
Well, apparently. So if anybody in the chat is able to find the longer clip, I would love to take a look at it. My suspicion is that she is reading like a comment or something going on the live stream. But yes, I don't know how, like, if you don't watch the video, it's really hard to fully communicate how awkward and strange she is.
She gets so giddy about it. She reads it and she's like, "Yee!" She has this look on her face.
Vibe, yeah, it's got the vibe of like an old person trying to, and I'll count myself in that group, trying to use the lingo of a more recent generation. It's like me trying to use Gen Z speak. It just doesn't quite work.
That door was sus. That man over there was sus.
Spot is so sus and lit and shook.
Okay.
See, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Play it one more time. I want to. Yeah.
In order to open these doors, we do not say open sesame. We say open Biden. That's our magic word. Open Biden. I love it.
What in the world, dude? It's so weird. And it's not even good. Why do you love it, Nancy? It's not a good thing. It's not clever. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But it is interesting how the reference being, open sesame being the sort of folklore magic words to open up the I believe it was the door to the thieves' dungeon or something in Arabian Nights. Oh no, my knowledge of of fairy tales is falling apart live.
Somebody in the chat will help you out.
It's something like that. But yeah, open Biden. Ooh, I just love that. And of course, everybody's saying that she's drunk as usual. I don't know.
I don't know
maybe
either.
not. She sure got excited enough to raise suspicions.
Yeah, that is something you would get excited about if you're under the influence of another spirit.
Yeah.
In reference to I just wanted to look up Biden, the name, the etymology of the name, just because I was curious. I hadn't done it yet.
Yeah, interesting. It had never even occurred to me that it might be interesting to do that. But
So, according to houseofnames.com, Biden history, family crest, and coat of arms, the Anglo-Saxon name Biden comes from when its first bearer worked as a maker of buttons. The surname Biden is a metonymic name derived from the Old French word bouton, which means button. Alternatively, the name could have been derived from the Old English by dun, collectively meaning dweller by the down.
whoa,
And their crest, their ancient coat of arms, is really fascinating because
it is strange.
it's got the horns. It's like a knight's armor. It's got the tassels and stuff. That's pretty typical of a coat of arms. But it's got the horns. That really got me. I was like,
two
whoa.
sort of disembodied. Some would say devil horns. Maybe somebody wants to call them bull horns or something. But it was strange how it connected to the theme that we identified last episode or 2 episodes ago. It's the year of the bull.
Year of the bull.
It's the bull market. You've got the Q shaman with his horns in the Capitol building. And now Biden, the Biden name, ancient coat of arms, has horns on it.
And being invoked by drunk Pelosi. Open Biden. Like, what? It's so weird.
Open Biden. What are you saying, you crazy lady?
So yeah, I just thought I would include that because it's.
Sure.
I was surprised. I didn't think I would find anything really interesting there, but yeah, the horns just keep popping up this year.
Yeah.
Almost like somebody's gonna. Biden's just gonna walk out one day. He's just gonna have these gnarly horns.
I know. It's crazy. And speaking of gnarly horns, CBSNews.com, QAnon Shaman claims he wasn't attacking the country.
Cue the miserable, cue the desperate. What must I do to convince you people? You're right, Q.
Yep.
Speaking for the first time from jail, the man known as the QAnon Shaman told 60 Minutes Plus correspondent Lori Segal he doesn't think his actions during the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol were an attack on the nation. Quote, "No, they were not, ma'am. My actions were not an attack on this country. That is incorrect. That is inaccurate entirely," Jacob Chansley said in an excerpt from the interview that aired on CBS this morning. Video allegedly showed Chansley on the Senate floor during the insurrection, bare-chested and wearing a fur helmet with horns. He was arrested shortly after and now faces up to 20 years behind bars. A judge will hear arguments Friday on whether he should be released from jail before trial. Let's see, what's the... this came out 9 hours ago, so do you think that's happening today?
When did it say?
QAnon Shaman could be on a Zoom call right now with a judge figuring out if he needs to be jailed before his trial or not. This will be interesting. Just great. Do they live stream those? Can we just tune in?
Maybe. I don't know.
What if they started doing that? I mean, Zoom is so unsecure as far as security is considered. A talented cybersecurity hobbyist could probably hack in and watch the Zoom call.
Yeah.
Continuing, though, describing his actions on January 6th, Chansley said, quote, "Well, I sang a song, and that's a part of shamanism. It's about creating positive vibrations in a sacred chamber. I also stopped people from stealing and vandalizing that sacred place." Again, now we have the QAnon. Yes, now we have the QAnon shaman calling it the sacred place. Of course, it was a little, sure, okay, sacred space. Which, of course, harkens back to when the January 6th incident was happening. You know, the obsession with the temple of democracy, the sacred floor of the Senate, applying this religious language to it, which made a lot of people uncomfortable. But
I love this quote. Keep going. Read the quote.
He says, "Okay, I actually stopped somebody from stealing muffins out of the break room. I also said a prayer in that sacred chamber because it was my intention to bring divinity and to bring God back into the Senate." And in this quote, they do capitalize G, God, as in the Judeo-Christian God, and not some whatever
this is an interesting
God they would be describing.
It's an interesting mix of like biblical God with shamanism. Which is a fascinating expose, a picture, example of the weird spirituality that was floating around Q. You know, of course, you've got different flavors of Q. You've got the Christian Q, you've got the New Age Q, and of course, this guy being the Q shaman is kind of working with a mixture of both, it seems. Yeah. Well, there's not much else. You want to keep reading this, or it's,
we'll finish it out here. Quote, "But Jake, legally, you were not allowed to be in what you're calling the sacred chamber," Segal said to Chansley. Quote, and that is, it's so funny. They love adding the stutters.
To make him sound crazy.
Right. They're typing out all of his stutters, which is always up to the journalist, whether they want to quote it directly or correct the stutters in the text version. But they want to keep them crazy. So, and that is the one very serious regret I have, was believing that when we were waved in by police officers that it was acceptable, Chansley said. So that being a part, he's kind of sticking to that story. And it's not just a story, because you can see on video police officers literally sort of rolling out the carpet for this guy specifically, not doing anything to physically restrain him, and in some cases stepping aside and just letting him pass by, which I think will be interesting to see how that works for him in the trial. Then it goes into 5 people died during the insurrection, yada, yada, yada. Then it just goes into some more scare tactics about the thing. But just one more quick thing, because it was interesting. It says over 300 people have been charged with crimes in connection with the assault of the Capitol. A federal grand jury indicted Chansley on January 11th. The indictment charges 2 felonies and 4 misdemeanors, including civil disorder, interfering with a law officer, and violent entry and disorderly conduct in a Capitol building. So there you go.
All right. Well, sticking to the Q story.
Q the miserable, Q the desperate. What must I do to convince you people? You're right, Q.
Yesterday was the day.
Yeah, it finally happened, guys.
It happened. Trump took the presidency back, or now we have 2 presidents, or what?
No, don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions? Okay. The Sydney Morning Herald. Handful of QAnon supporters show up at secured U.S. Capitol. And it says a smattering of followers of the QAnon conspiracy gathered near the U.S. Capitol on Thursday, the day the movement had predicted former President Donald Trump's return to office, but they were far outnumbered by security forces deployed to deter any possible attack. National Guard troops patrolled inside the fence encircling the Capitol, the scene of a deadly insurrection by Trump supporters that killed 5 people. Police had warned of a potential attack by militants to mark Thursday's date, and the House of Representatives canceled its sessions. And then there's a photo of some military guys behind a fence and people that look like just my neighbors wearing MAGA hats, like nice Americans with American flags, and
a couple people showed up. Now, to be clear, just so no YouTube moderators or reviewers get the wrong idea and delete this video. The answer that was sarcasm. As far as we know, Trump did not get inaugurated as the 19th president.
It's secretly, bro. Hey, just trust the plan. It's secret.
Well, how would we even know if it did happen?
Well, we would, because
crazy part.
The signals. You got to pay attention to the signals, you see.
I'm still waiting for my apology from some very specific people on the internet. They were big fans of our work, Gons, but when we started, I wouldn't even say bad-mouthing. When we started questioning the fact that Q stuff was going to happen, especially in the past couple months, they changed their tune about us and our work real quick and were willing to fight for that fact. And so, and one of them specifically said that they would apologize if nothing happened. So I'm still waiting for my apology.
Oh, that's interesting. I do feel bad a little bit, though, because this whole March 4th thing got pretty popular. It went viral, if you want to say. Mm-hmm. And hashtag Trump inauguration went viral on Twitter yesterday, and there's a lot of people making fun of the whole situation. And I don't think that's necessary. It is pretty brutal,
yeah. It's a little unnecessary to be so mean about it.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. But it is. It's almost like some of these folks bit on the psyop, so to speak. That's really kind of what it is. It does feel like a setup for a lot of people that were hopeful that something would happen. And of course, nothing has happened, at least nothing publicly. I like this picture here. Somebody photoshopped the 4 people to make it look like there's hundreds or at least a few dozen people in front of the fence.
Some nice copy and paste work there.
Copy and paste work.
Funny.
So, yeah, I don't know what to say other than we knew the Q thing. I mean, I was suspicious of the Q thing from the end of 2017, a month or two into the whole Q thing. There was probably about a month or maybe not even that, like a couple weeks where I was like, oh, there's something to this. And then I was like, wait a minute, this does not feel right to begin with.
Yeah, well, there was nothing to it in evidence. It was just interesting ideas. It was an interesting narrative, an interesting timeline that would make for an exciting moment in history, but there was really never any evidence. There was just there's some high profile charismatic people pushing the ideas, and that was taken as evidence. And General Flynn being one of the sort of more public Q hinters, I would say. And he explicitly came out a couple of weeks ago. We played the clip on the show where he's like, no, stop talking about it. It's not real. Stop waiting for it. Nothing's going to happen. So, of course, then Q changed their mind about General Flynn when he said that. But anyways, there you go. Be nice to Q people. It's not something to gloat about. In fact, it's a hard spot, especially when people got extra invested in it, because I think their hearts are in the right place. They just wanted to see the right thing happen for their country, and they were holding out hope for what they wanted to happen, and somebody was feeding them bad information through allegedly trustworthy outlets or mouthpieces. And so, we no need to be mean to the Q people. They're dealing with it on their own. Yeah. So, but there you go. As far as we know, Trump is not the 19th president. No Black Hawk helicopters came swooping in to the Capitol building or the White House. Nancy Pelosi is obviously not arrested In fact, she may be getting hammered and live streaming on her Twitch channel. Who knows?
And provoking portals to open with Abraca Biden or whatever she said there.
Oh, Abraca Biden.
All right, we got
be a
some
good show title. Abraca Biden.
Abraca Biden. Maybe we'll do it next. Okay, we got a whole bunch of Waccine updates.
Waccine.
A pandemic special.
And this first one here. Okay, what is this? All right, this is yougov.co.uk. They took a poll. Yeah, YouGov. They took a poll. Do you think you will or will not miss any aspects of lockdown when it's over?
Ooh,
and the
good cue.
Good. Ooh, cue. You're triggering people.
Uh-huh.
And 9% said, I will miss many aspects of the lockdown. 6% said, don't know. 39% said, I will not miss any aspects of lockdown. And the leading answer, 46%, said, I will miss some aspects of lockdown. What aspects do you think they'll miss, Basil?
That's a lot.
That's almost half the people that are like, we'll miss some things about the lockdown, like being imprisoned in our home and wearing sweatpants all day or something. I don't know.
I don't know. There's parts that I might miss, like never having to wear pants, having an excuse to never have to, go to a meeting or something like that. Certainly certain people out in the world that, having a good excuse to never see again. That was nice. That's it, though. That's all I can think of. But what lockdown has taught me is I can make those decisions for myself. I don't need the government to tell me when I can't wear pants.
Oh, quick, open it back up.
This yougov.co.uk is an interesting place. Well, Gons, before we move on, what about you? Are there any aspects of lockdown that you will miss?
Not really. I mean, you and I, especially, our lives were kind of from the house type of lives anyway. We didn't really, at least for me, I didn't go out too much anyway. I'm not jumping around and doing things. Although, no, I don't miss any. One thing I will miss, traffic. I live in Southern California.
You will miss traffic.
No. I will miss not having the traffic.
No traffic. Yeah.
And I noticed,
there you go.
I noticed even more recently when I go out and drive, people forgot how to drive or something. They're just crazy. They're mad on the road. So I don't know.
I've noticed that too. Drivers are a lot worse now than they were before the lockdowns.
Yeah, it's like
they get angrier faster.
It's like they sat at home and played what is it? That game. I'm so hip that I forget the game. GTA, thank you.
Grand Theft Auto,
yeah. They played Grand Theft Auto for 6 months, and then they're like, "Oh, got to get in a real car." And
I think that's an actual possibility. People's patience for the public, I feel, has gone down dramatically.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if that was a thing.
Well, this yougov.co.uk is an interesting site. We actually, I don't know if you remember, we actually reported on this site when it started. I believe it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Or at least when we heard about it, where they're trying to bring democracy, bring government decision making straight to the people. With a website that, there's just thousands and thousands of polls that you can answer. And then allegedly lawmakers can look at this and get some good advice on how to do their job, which they don't seem to be taking. But and at the bottom here, next to, on the next question is, do you think those have, okay, hold on. Do you think those have been vaccinated should no longer be subject to COVID-19 restrictions, e.g., having to stay home, having to wear masks, etc.? Or should everyone still be subject to the same COVID-19 restrictions until most people have been vaccinated? So to put it simply, hey, they're asking the public, should vaccinated people be given more freedoms? Or does it matter? Should they be just as locked down as everybody else? And the first option, those who have been vaccinated should not be subject to any more COVID-19 restrictions.
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems right. I mean, that's the whole point, isn't it? Hasn't that been the whole point the whole time? Get vaccinated and get your freedom back?
Yeah, that was the alleged narrative.
Yeah, only 12% of people think that vaccinated people should be free. Yeah. And the second option is everyone should be subject to the same COVID-19 restrictions until most people have been vaccinated. 79% of people are just like, nope, if you get the vaccine, you should just be locked down just like the rest of us. No freedom for you. Yeah, it really shows this, like, I don't know. It's it's the snitch culture, you know. Even if you are vaccinated, I want you to be locked down just like me.
Yeah, that is very weird. And
it's like a vengeful feeling to it.
Vengeful, and also I don't know. There's it's almost like they don't want. Yeah, vengeful's right.
They love the slavery.
What's the word I'm looking for? The Stockholm Syndrome. Thank you, Larry M in the chat. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that they're almost like they like their captivity. You know, they're like we like it.
And not only do they like their captivity, but they like other people's captivity.
Right, and we don't want anybody to be free until we're all jabbed. I guess.
Yeah. Or even maybe after that. Who knows?
Yeah. The next question will be, do you think after everyone is vaccinated that we can go back to normal life? And 90% will say, no.
No.
Stay inside.
Don't make me go back to the office.
Stay inside. Okay. Well, continuing on here, there was a video. I don't know if we can do this, Basil. It's a 1.5-minute video. It's a commercial that was running in Israel. It's featuring Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi. It's an ad that targets vaccine skeptics, and they mock the vaccine skeptic. And I would like to play it, except it's all in Hebrew, and I don't know how many people would understand what's going on here. It is captioned, so if you're watching, I guess you could. Did you want to try to do a role play here? It's kind of hard to do.
You know, I was thinking the problem is that you and I can't have a synced up video.
It at the same time. Yeah, that's the thing.
But basically what it is it's Benjamin
go ahead. I'm just going to play it in the background so people can watch.
Okay, sounds good. Benjamin Netanyahu, he is on a megaphone. He's trying to tell everybody, get the vaccine, get the vaccine. It's all good. It's safe. We're all going to get the vaccine. And then a man dressed as a clown comes up and asks a fairly benign question. Let me wait for it to come up here. What exactly does he say?
He says he's afraid of the vaccine, and then he asks what's in it. What's in those vaccines?
Yeah, so asking innocent question. This man is being portrayed as a clown for just asking what is in it. And then, you know, as the video goes on, the man in the clown outfit gets put in a bunch of other outfits, like the Cowardly Lion. He's suddenly
hold on, before you move on from the clown thing, the way Bibi answers him, instead of telling him what's in it, he mocks him. So he goes, what's in it? And he goes, Jen, don't be a clown. These vaccines was approved by the world's leading experts, the American FDA. Millions have already been vaccinated. You know, and then the Cowardly Lion says, I've heard it changes your DNA. Right. And of course.
Well, and the answer that Bibi gives him is strange. He says,
cut the wagging.
Yeah, I got it here. The vaccine's purpose is to attack the virus. Which is not. This is not how the vaccine works. The vaccine itself does not attack the virus.
And just like any other vaccine. No, that's not it either. That's false.
Yeah, it is. It is explicitly not like any other vaccine.
This is false.
Yeah. So anyways, that just kind of is how it goes throughout the whole thing. I don't know if we need to go line by line, but so yeah, basically the clown man gets put in all these insulting costumes for basically asking normal questions.
The keyboard warrior is the most interesting one because it's a guy in like a weird silver thing. He's got keyboards on his shoulders, and he asks, "Why vaccinate everyone? What's your interest? You want to implant a microchip? You want to follow me, BB?" And then, of course, BB's answer is, "Stop the fake news."
Right. Then he is in a baby outfit for a second. He says, "But I'm young. Coronavirus doesn't affect me." And BB says, "Well, coronavirus affects everyone."
Oh, God.
Which is not really true. The response to coronavirus affects everyone, but the coronavirus itself, again, explicitly doesn't affect everyone. But okay, we'll keep going. And then, of course, it goes into you'll kill your grandma, you'll kill your grandpa. There's your parents.
They mentioned the green passport.
And then it says, yes, plus you'll get a green passport. Oh, good. I want to get vaccinated so I can get my green passport. Now, I don't think we've done a full roundup on the green passport.
Yeah, we did. We had a story, I think, either last episode. Was it
explicitly the green passport we talked about? I know we've talked about many versions of the passport.
It was because Israel, a couple episodes ago at least, they were the first nation that rolled this thing out, and there were a whole bunch of protesters. Remember, they had the big, giant coronavirus ball that they were rolling around.
Specifically for the green passport.
That was in protest to the green passport.
I know there's been several versions.
Sounds like dragon is what it says here on the captions of the commercial.
Yeah, that was a little strange, wasn't it?
This green dragon sounds good to me. Mm-hmm. There's a giant dragon sniffing.
Well, he turns into the Queen of Dragons from Game of Thrones there, of course. Right. So when he's questioning the vaccine and, pointing out some things that are concerns to people, he's a clown, he's the cowardly lion, he's a keyboard warrior, he's a baby. But then when he says, "Oh, this sounds good," he turns into Daenerys, the Dragon Queen. So there you go. If you want to, if you get your vaccine and your green passport, nothing wrong with joining the beast system and making friends with the dragon.
I would say that this is explicitly
state-sponsored propaganda machinery.
Yeah. And there's something interesting that I have been thinking about recently especially with something like this and the whole story about Israel and the green passport. There's a lot of believers, our fellow brethren, who are really into defending Israel. It's kind of I'm not trying to be ageist, but I would say an older generation of believers that came out of the Hal Lindsey stuff and all that. They're really pro-Israel.
So just for those who might be new, I grew up in the church, been a Christian my whole life. And that's kind of part of our fun little dynamic is you came to it later.
Yeah.
And I will say that, yes, growing up in we went to a bunch of different kinds of churches, went to Calvary Chapel, we went to Baptist Church, we went to all sorts of places. It wasn't even a question. It was, yes, you support Israel, you support everything Israel does, you question nothing. It is God's chosen people. Now, at that time, I was young. I had no idea that Israel, the current modern day Israel, was established in 1942? 48.
Yep.
So, I just kind of took it for what it was. I would say it's a fundamental building block of a certain generation of American Christians.
Yeah, so it's been interesting because I would, just from my observation, this is anecdotal, but from my observation, the same people that tend to be anti-vax, or is it 1947? Someone said 47, might have been 47. Either 47 or 48. The same people who tend to be more of the anti-vax crowd are also pro-Israel. So I'm just wondering what this does to that crowd where Israel becomes the first nation where they have this green passport. They want to vaccinate everybody. it's just, I don't know. Is it destroying that psyop, and just letting go of that whole,
I don't think it is. I think they want to.
Yeah, I'm sure they want to, but
yeah,
a lot of it, I mean, I've obviously, if you go through the YouTube channel, the Face Like This on YouTube channel, I've gone through kind of my studies on Zionism and how that's been the main culprit and separating that political infrastructure from just the actual citizens that live in Israel and that whole deal. It's a very complicated issue because as soon as you bring it up, you're labeled anti-Semitic and you're walking in dangerous territory and all that kind of stuff. So it's a difficult conversation,
which is ironic.
It is ironic.
Many American, especially secular Jews, are very critical of the nation of Israel.
Many of them, yes.
Or the state of Israel, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of rabbis out there that are anti-Zionist explicitly and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a heated topic, but I'm just curious how that community is responding to this situation in Israel, and Bibi coming out here, really pushing the vax, really pushing the green passport. Last summer, he pushed microchipping children, not explicitly, but I mean, that's what he was saying. That, that little alarms would go off if children got too close to one another, stuff like that. So it's like, okay, I guess defend Israel, send them billions of dollars and all of our weapons. But also that means supporting this whole agenda here. And I think somebody recently somebody from Israel said that Israel is like a petri dish or something. Like that's like the words they use.
Yeah, well, a lot of those things are, a lot of the sort of new world ordery, especially technology. Israel is quite the technological center. It's the Silicon Valley of the Middle East there. A lot of new and exciting technology, especially sort of what we might consider beast system technology, is either developed in Israel or is tested on the public in Israel, and then kind of exported from there to more, controlling governments around the world.
Yeah. So moving on here, I just want to run through this real quick. This is LouRockwell.com. He's he's a controversial figure. If you go into his about page, he's got a list of people that are part of this, this news and opinion site, and it includes people like Pat Buchanan, Gerald Salante, who else was there? Ron Paul. So, libertarian type and, freedom type of person, which, I'm just being upfront about the bias. But the article is titled "Death Rates Skyrocket in Israel Following Pfizer Experimental COVID Vaccines." Oh. And Haim Yativ and Dr. Seligman called it, quote, "This is a new Holocaust." That's what they're saying.
They're calling the vaccine rollout a new Holocaust?
Yeah, with a number of people actually dying from the vaccines. And, I won't read the whole thing. Are there
numbers on that? How many people in Israel are dying from the vaccines?
Let me see here. I read through this really quickly when I found this article. There was a stat thing down here. Well, maybe I'll read a little bit here then. We've previously reported how Israel rapidly vaccinated the highest percentage of their population with experimental COVID vaccines after the Israeli government struck a bargain with Pfizer to secure millions of doses of their mRNA COVID vaccine. It is astonishing that the government of Israel entrusted the health of the people to Pfizer by entering into a secret contract that it enrolled the Israeli population to become research subjects without their knowledge or consent. To date, Israel has vaccinated over 53% of their population, twice the percentage of the next closest nation, Britain, with 26.9%. Although percentages are a little deceptive because, Israel is only, what's their population, 9 million or something? It's a very small nation.
Yeah.
So, if you're saying, America only 13.5%, it's actually more people in America.
Well, I think the percentage is of importance because of the herd immunity conversation.
Okay. The official news published by the corporate media claimed that the vaccines have been effective in reducing rates of COVID in Israel and has been scrutinized and examined by Aix Marseille University Facility of Medicine Emerging Infectious and Tropical Diseases Unit's Dr. Herve Seligman and engineer Haim Yativ, who published their results on a discussion forum website called Nakim. The information quickly went viral and now has been translated into several languages and addressed on various news sites around the world, including Arutz Shiva 7, IsraelNationNews.com. And here's a translation. Let me just try to find the spot here. They claim that Pfizer's shot causes, quote, mortality hundreds of times greater in young people compared to mortality from coronavirus without the vaccine, and dozens of times more in the elderly, when the documented mortality from coronavirus is in the vicinity of the vaccine dose, thus adding greater mortality from heart attack, stroke, etc. Dr. Herve Seligman works at the Emerging Infectious and Tropical Disease Research Unit, Faculty of Medicine, i.e. Marseille University, Marseille, France. He is of Israeli Luxembourg nationality. He has a Bachelor of Science in Biology from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem and has written over 100 scientific publications. So not your typical conspiracy blogger here. This is someone that seems to have some credibility in the realm of scientific publications. Their findings are there's a mismatch between the data published by the authorities and the reality on the ground. They have 3 sources of information besides the emails and adverse events reports they received through the internet. These 3 sources are Israeli news site, Ynet, the Israeli Health Ministry database, and the U.S. Federal Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System, or VAERS, database. In January 2021, there were 3,000 records of vaccine adverse events, including 2,900 for mRNA vaccines. Compared to other years, mortality is 40 times higher. On February 11th, a Ynet article presented data relating to vaccination. The authors of the Nakim article claimed to have debunked this analysis based on data published by Ynet itself. Quote, we took the data by looking at mortality during the vaccination period, which spans 5 weeks. By analyzing these data, we arrived at startling figures that attribute significant mortality to the vaccine. The authors say, quote, vaccines have caused more deaths than the coronavirus would have caused during the same period. Those are bold claims. Haim Yativ and Dr. Seligman declare that for them, quote, this is a new Holocaust in face of Israeli authority pressure to vaccinate citizens. So,
and it's interesting too. This is a guy in Israel saying this.
Yes,
an Israeli guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because, of course, in America, every white kid who watches CNN will call something a Holocaust left and right.
Right.
But when an actual Israeli says it, that's a little bit more serious.
It's got a little more punch to it. Got to bury it. Got to put Cuomo out there and some allegations, keep people distracted. Right. Yeah. But that's pretty troubling, and it's another one of those examples of science is not it's not truth. There is no consensus amongst those who do science.
Yeah, because it's not a belief system.
Yeah,
the problem is when science is being treated like a belief system, we call it scientism.
Right.
And the problem is when science, quote unquote, science is treated like a belief system, then you get orthodoxy and unorthodoxy, and the unorthodox are heretics, and the orthodox, they get to as long as they say the right thing, believe the right thing. Which is whatever the high priest of CNN tells them to believe, then they're good.
Yeah, and what was I going to say? Maybe I need that alpha brain of yours because I had a point and then I forgot it as I was listening to you talk. But it was basically Newsom is doing he's rolling out something very similar to this in California, where he's like, oh, we're going to the most affected communities. We're saving 40% of the vaccines for them. There's no passport thing yet, publicly stated. But in their release, like their public release document, like the California.gov document, they're like, we're basing it off, there's a moral obligation to vaccinate people, and we're listening to the science. And it just infuriates me because they keep saying that, we're listening to the science, but nothing about it is scientific. It's all political. It's maddening, which I know all of our viewers out there already know that. I'm just venting.
Sure. No, it must be vented.
Yes, because they're vaccinating other animals before humans that need it, apparently.
Yeah, that was a great segue, Gons. Well, I would have, gone with something like, I wonder what the mortality rate is for vaccinated apes. Do you have an ape jingle?
No, I do not. Oh, here's one.
I touched inappropriately.
There you go.
Gons. Oh man, guys, remember to follow us on multiple locations because it is only a matter of time before we stop showing up wherever you're watching us now.
We're gonna get canceled.
Okay, this is fun. This was all over the place, but I took it specifically from NationalGeographic.com. Okay. And the headline is, I figured, National Geographic doesn't make it on the show often enough, so we might as well, this is their specialty. Sure. So, first great apes at U.S. Zoo receive COVID-19 vaccine made for animals.
Racist.
Did you know there's a special animal vaccine? An orangutan named Karen.
What?
Oh, this poor orangutan.
No way. It's named Karen?
Yeah. An orangutan named Karen, the first in the world to have open heart surgery in 1994, has made medical history again. She is among the first great apes to get a COVID-19 vaccine. In February, Karen, 3 other orangutans, and 5 bonobos at the San Diego Zoo have received 2 doses each of an experimental vaccine for animals developed by a veterinary pharmaceutical company, says Nadine Lemberski, Chief Conservation and Wildlife Health Officer at the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance. Oh no, I'm getting a...
I know.
National Geographic, you're giving me a paywall?
Here, I'm going to... Yeah,
no, hold on. Let me hack the mainframe real quick.
Me too. I'm doing it too. Hold on.
Hold on. Blasting through the firewall.
Let me get it.
I got through the first firewall.
Where is it?
Oh, see, this is unfair because I have to use the VR hand, which loses control.
Ooh, this isn't working. Hold on.
Almost there.
How is it not working?
Oh, yeah. Yes, my virus I implanted on Gonza's computer is working. No. Oh, and they got me on this one too.
Oh, nuts. National Geographic has some strong... Dang,
we got to get the story from somebody else then, National Geographic.
No results.
Okay, well, stall for a second.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it on archive. Well, there it is. Let me see if there's...
I'll get it from somebody else in 2 seconds. Sorry, everybody. Oh, Gons, you're supposed to be distracting everybody while I find this other story. Okay, here it is. I'm taking it from CBSNews.com. You had your chance, National Geographic.
I got it.
Great. I also have it.
From National Geographic?
Oh, no, you have the National Geographic version?
Oh, yeah. Here, I'm going to drop it in the doc so you can...
Oh, yay. He's giving it to me.
I think this is it.
Sometimes we have competitions, folks, just to see who can hack the mainframe and read the story first.
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh, you got it from the archive. Okay, let's see what the archive has to say here.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna do the pop up again. So
yeah, we'll see. Let's see if it happens. It's not doing... Oh, yeah. Okay. There we go. Oh, yeah. No pop-up. Love it. Quote, this isn't the norm. In my career, I haven't had access to an experimental vaccine this early in the process and haven't had such an overwhelming desire to want to use one, Lemberski says. I love this. She's like, I've never wanted one. I've never had one, but I guess now I do, both. The milestone had been triggered by another. In January, a troop of 8 gorillas at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park became the first great apes in the world to test positive for the novel coronavirus. The silverback, 49-year-old Winston.
Ooh, like from 1984.
Yeah, also from Overwatch. What's up, gamers? Fell ill with heart disease and pneumonia, but following experimental antibody treatment, he was recovering, as are the others. So these gorillas got experimental antibody treatment that human beings, I guess maybe Trump got the same antibody treatment.
It worked on apes, President.
Sounds like a remdesivir. There is that thing about how Trump loves apes.
Stick it in.
Gorillas.
We're in a new age.
These gorillas are so strong, like me. Globally, infections have also been confirmed in tigers, lions, minks, snow leopards, cougars, and ferrets, dogs, and domestic cats. But the fact that great apes are susceptible to the SARS-CoV-2 virus has scientists especially concerned. Fewer than 5,000 gorillas remain in the wild, and because they live in close family groups, researchers worry that if one caught the virus, the infection might spread quickly and imperil already precarious populations. How would a gorilla catch the coronavirus?
He goes to China and buys something he's not supposed to.
He eats a bat, or maybe a researcher didn't wear their mask. More than a year into the pandemic, there's still little known about how the virus affects animals. In many cases, the veterinary community must rely on the limited data sets, learning that what it can from individual cases and sporadic outbreaks in a handful of species. After the first dog tested positive for the virus in Hong Kong in February 2020, veterinary pharmaceutical company Zoetis began developing a COVID-19 vaccine for dogs and cats. By October, it had confidence it was safe and effective in both species. Lamberski was already in touch with Zoetis following the vaccine's development when the safari park's gorilla troop tested positive in January. Though the vaccine had only been tested on dogs and cats, she decided it was worth the risk. Between the safari park and the zoo, she and her team care for 9 gorillas, 8 bonobos, and 5 orangutans, all potentially vulnerable and all spending significant time in indoor living quarters, where the spread of disease is more likely. In February, while distracted from the needle with treats, 9 of the San Diego Zoo's great apes became the first known non-human primates to receive a COVID-19 vaccine in the U.S. So it's just in the U.S. So somebody else's gorillas got the gorilla vaccine before ours.
Yeah.
Probably China, huh?
Yeah. Well, are you going to keep going? I'm only wondering because, okay, yeah.
The apes had no adverse reactions, just because I know everybody was wondering, and are doing well, Lamberski says. Blood drawn from Karen, the orangutan, and one of the bonobos will soon show whether they developed antibodies, the presence of which would indicate that the vaccine may be working. 3 leftover doses will soon go to bonobos and the zoo's 1 gorilla who didn't get the virus. The troop of 8 lives separately at the safari park. So that paragraph in particular is strange because they gave the vaccine to the animals who had already had coronavirus. Now, I think it's a little bit ironic that the human vaccine was able to skip animal trials. That's part of the worrisome part about the human vaccine, is that they were exempt from doing animal trials, which is usually what takes vaccines so long to get tested and put out there. Yeah. So we gave it to humans first and then animals, which is interesting. Then also they gave these vaccines to animals that had already had the coronavirus, which is, do we have the source on that, referring to those who have already had the coronavirus and get the vaccine tend to have much more severe side effects?
I don't know.
I don't think I can't remember it. So okay, well, I'll look for the source on that. But that was something that was written up a little while back, was those who had already had coronavirus and got the vaccine were experiencing way more troubling side effects because their body had already developed a response to coronavirus. And then when they got the vaccine, it kind of set off a lot of the alarm bells, and they were having issues. So that's, I don't know. I just think that's interesting. These zoos are they treasure their great apes. They're like the whole point of having a zoo. But it seemed like, look, I'm just saying, as far as the science goes, the mainstream science, that seems dangerous to just pump all your gorillas who had already had coronavirus with the vaccine. And it was untested. What if it didn't work? What if it killed them? They would have just done it all in one swoop. They would have had one gorilla and one bonobo left over. And who's going to go to the zoo to see one gorilla? Come on.
Yeah. This is all leading to the genetic alteration of apes and the planet of the apes. They're going to say, oh, we need to cure the apes of coronavirus at the genomic level before birth, and one of the apes is going to be born talking.
Yeah, isn't that the exact storyline of the more recent Planet of the Apes?
I didn't watch like the prequel remake of it, but yeah, maybe something like that is the.
Yeah, I seem to remember that was almost exactly what happened. Caesar. But don't quote me on that. Okay, let me jump into this one too, because this one's really exciting, and I think combined with the last story could be really concerning. This is coming from MSN.com. The headline is CDC gives tips on how to survive a zombie apocalypse. Seriously.
Didn't they do this years ago, though?
I don't recall.
Yeah, they gave out like a kind of a joke thing that, survived the zombie apocalypse I think more than a couple years ago, 2016 or something. I'll look it up. You go ahead and read it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, see if you can find something. I'd also like to get the direct CDC source if you have it. Oh, wait, here we go.
Yeah, 2018, zombie preparedness, cdc.gov.
I think they updated it.
Okay, is that what they did?
I think so.
I have the link right here if you want to look at it in the doc.
Pop it in there real quick.
And I'll
that's the CDC one. Okay, so the article over here on MSN says the Center for Disease Control and Preparedness decided to share how you can be zombie ready in case there happens to be a zombie apocalypse. Quote, wonder why zombie apocalypse, and zombie preparedness continue to live or walk dead on a CDC website? Well, as it turns out, what first began as a tongue-in-cheek campaign to engage new audiences with preparedness messages has proven to be a very effective platform. We'll continue to reach and engage a wide variety of audiences on all hazard preparedness, the CDC said. They want you to be prepared for the zombies, just like you should be prepared for all disasters. And at least that's what they're saying. Quote, there are all kinds of emergencies out there that we can prepare for. Take a zombie apocalypse, for example. You may laugh now, but when it happens, you'll be happy you read this. And hey, maybe you'll even learn a thing or two about how to prepare for a real emergency. A blog post from the CDC website states. So, what do you need to do? Firstly, you need to put together an emergency kit with food and water that could last you a few days before you're able to find a zombie-free camp. And for more tips on how to survive a zombie apocalypse from the official CDC website, click here. Should we see? Do you think that there'll be anything interesting there?
No,
let's find out.
I remembered looking at this thing in like 2016 or something.
Yeah, I'm kind of recalling it now. It's probably do a little search on canarycrynewstalk.com. We could pull up our own very special clips, but let's see. Zombie preparedness products. This is on the CDC website. There's the zombie preparedness blog, zombie preparedness for educators. Zombie preparedness poster. Okay. Oh, they even have a graphic novel.
Yeah, this is all PR to get CDC out there more.
Oh, come on, CDC.
I just remember.
How much more PR do you need? You got Fauci running around screaming your name all the time.
Yeah, this is very old. There's 2015, October 2015, National Institute
this
of
one
Health.
I'm seeing 2011.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, this is like an old campaign thing. That's something, I will say that they, especially since Biden took office, they've been recycling a lot of old stories
Yeah, we've been noticing that, haven't we?
They want people to be distracted, and they're just rehashing all kinds of old stuff. It's the cycle, But
what I do like? What I do like about this, and why I'm not too mad that it's making the rounds again, is it's promoting prepper culture. Yeah. They tell you to get a gallon of water per day, food, medications, tools and supplies, sanitation, hygiene, clothing and bedding, important documents, first aid supplies. They definitely made a mistake by not putting machete. Desert Eagle.
The troubling thing is before it was just the wild conspiracy theorists saying it. Now the CDC is saying it. What do they know? I don't know. But
vaccine, man. It's weird how they're recycling this right while the vaccine conversation is going on.
Yeah, it's not the virus that's going to get everybody into zombies. It's the
you know what they also don't have on this list is drugs and alcohol for bartering purposes.
Yeah.
Or to pay ransom when marauders take your grandma.
Do they have backdoor swabs?
Welcome to Chinese Show!
New York Post
wants backdoor swabs.
New York Post headline: China makes COVID-19 anal swabs mandatory for foreigners. We just reported on how they
flopping.
I know. We just reported on them apologizing to the U.S. officials,
delegates
that were complaining. We never agreed to this. And now they're like, we promised we won't do it again.
That they would never do it again.
We promised not to do it again. We'll make it mandatory. So I'm not going to even read this. There's no point.
Well, okay, so hold on. Well, I just want to know. So this is mandatory for all foreigners coming into the country?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
China has made anal COVID-19 swabs mandatory for all foreign travelers arriving in the country, a report said Wednesday. The government has claimed that such tests provide a higher degree of accuracy than other screening methods for the virus, the Times UK reported. As part of the new travel requirement, there will be test hubs in Beijing and Shanghai airports, the outlet reported. Can you imagine if you're traveling to China, you're scrolling through the news feed, and you see this?
You're already on the plane.
Oh, no!
You're at the airport in San Francisco about to board a plane to go to China.
Burn the engines.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? This is actually genius. And I think, Trump could have learned a lesson from this if he had the chance. Who knows? Maybe Biden will learn the lesson. You don't need to impose a travel ban if you're going to mandatorily anal swab everybody who comes into your country. You can get past all the xenophobic comments, all the racist comments.
That would have been
let everybody
so good.
in. Say, invite ISIS into the country, but mandatory swabs. That'll go way further than any travel ban.
I do wish Trump was still in office, because now that China does it, Trump could be like, good idea. Everybody coming to America must get anal swabs.
More importantly, Biden will he's definitely going to do this now.
Come on,
he
man.
He loves what China does.
Come on, man. Who am I to judge the I don't know. I'm trying to get the Biden. It's hard. Biden is hard to really.
I know. We have not perfected the Joe Biden.
You just got to kind of mumble, like grunt.
Yeah, there's lots of mumbling.
Got questions. Okay, so just flying through a couple more of these, and then we'll do a break, and then we'll bring Ark from Destiny Lab on here. This story is why do I have that in my thing here? Ooh, I'm missing a couple links. Hold on, let me throw this one in here. This story is titled "Supercomputer Shows Effectiveness of Double Masking."
Oh.
Yeah, hold on. Where's my mask jingle? I did have it. It was ready. Here it is.
If you're working alone, wear a mask. The mask's not for you. It's to protect the people you care about.
It says here, Japanese supercomputer simulations show that wearing two masks gives limited benefit in blocking viral spread compared to one properly fitted mask.
Oh, so it's the supercomputer is anti-double mask.
Yeah. and it shows like the a 3D CGI thing of the viral spread of a person's face. So yeah, see, there you go. 2 masks is not necessary. And I hope Gavin Newsom sees this, because part of his whole thing, the government thing he pushed out there, says trust the science, and also double mask when necessary. So.
Yeah, this is a good idea. Just to remind everybody, all these links are available on canarycrynewstalk.com when the show is posted. Again, it's just good to have these in the hopper when somebody says, trust the science, double mask. You just bust this out and show them. Well, the science says, our AI overlord supercomputer says double masks are not the way to go.
Yep. And this one real quick here. This is Reuters.com. Scream.
Oh, this one I love.
Scream, not swab. Dutch inventor hopes he discovered new COVID test. And Amsterdam.
This is great.
Yeah, Amsterdam Dutch inventor has come up with what he hopes could be a potentially faster and easier method to screen for coronavirus infections. Instead of unpleasant nasal swabs,
notice how they don't mention the Chinese method.
Instead of unpleasant anal swabs, Peter Van Wees asks participants to step into an airlocked cabin and to scream or sing. An industrial air purifier collects all the particles emitted, which are then analyzed for the virus. Quote, if you have coronavirus and are infected and are infectious and yelling and screaming, you are spreading tens of thousands of particles which contain coronavirus, Van Wees said. A serial entrepreneur who has set up his booth next to a coronavirus testing center on the outskirts of Amsterdam to try his invention out on people who have just been tested. And it goes on here. I mean, yeah, it's got some video of people stepping into a booth.
I really like the next part. Quote, it's always very nice to scream when nobody can hear you, said Soraya Asud, 25, who needed proof of a negative coronavirus test for a trip to Spain. Van Wees says that although lots of small particles from the person's blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I could see this catching on. If this guy can, Can you imagine what going to the airport would be like? Especially with all the screening, the testing.
These people really. This is nice because it lets out the frustration of all these people being in a, being under lockdown, being in an airport, being tested.
There is nothing I would love more than to go through TSA, take off my shoes, go through the thing, search my bag, and at the very end of TSA, step into this booth and just scream about it. It would be an eerie, it'd sound like a slaughterhouse in there. You're standing in line at TSA and you just, every 30 seconds...
I'm sure the singers would show off,
Yeah, then you'd occasionally get a opera singer or somebody who would,
All right, so that's fun. And,
this could catch on. I might support this.
And then one more. I'll just read the headline. Reuters.com. When will it end? How a changing virus is reshaping scientists' view on COVID-19. They're basically saying that it's changing. It's changing. Even though everyone's getting the vaccines, now that it's changing, be careful. More people gonna die. Lots of people gonna die. Be scared. That's the message.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. There you go.
Message received.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a quick little break. Thanks, some producers.
It's break time.
Come on, take a break, everybody. Take a break and scream. All right, we're going to take just a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, we've got Ark from Destiny Labs coming, and we're going to be, it's going to be an interesting experiment. I'm excited. We're always excited to talk to our buddy, but we're going to be going over some relevant news, some of it from the past, and we'll just take it from there. It's going to be a good time. So don't go anywhere, folks. But first, let us thank some producers, because you may have noticed we haven't read any advertisements, no ad reads, no affiliate codes, no fake descriptions about how I learned to cook from a food delivery service or whatever. No. None of that, because as Adam Curry from the No Agenda Show says, every corporate sponsorship is a form of censorship, and that is that's what we're dealing with, folks. The advertising industry has been an excuse for censorship. Of course, things aren't brand safe, so we gotta demonetize, take you off the list here, stop sharing your videos with people. Boy, don't we know it, Gons? But advertising is also responsible for a lot of other horrible things, like the privacy concerns, the big data collection, as well as the more fun things like shadow banning and things like that. So we decided long ago that advertising taking corporate money at all was not an option for us. You might notice if you're in YouTube, the super chat doesn't work. We don't get any money from ads on YouTube or affiliate things. Not even partnership over on Twitch, things like that. Nope. In fact, we are entirely produced and funded by our listeners. Not just any listeners, but listeners who decided that they get some kind of value out of what we do. And that's how the value for value system works. We create value. We do it 3 times a week, and we try to do the very best we can. And if you get any value out of what Gons and I do here on the show, it is your opportunity to put some value back in. And that can look many different ways. It can be your time, your talent, and your treasure. And so let's start out, Gons, by thanking some of our financial producers for this show, which is episode 308. And I'll start out with Patreon. Patreon.com/CCNT. That's for Canary Cry News Talk. Patreon.com/CCNT. And we got some folks coming in, just making the upgrade from listener to producer. And first of all, I want to thank producer Maharani R.
Thank you, producer Maharani.
That's right. Thank you very much. Next, we have producer Ashton.
Thank you, producer Ashton.
Producer Ashton. Thank you very much. Next, we have producer Martins T.
Martins.
Thank you very much. And we got a little note from Martins here. Basil is a professional. Gons is a legend. Oh. God bless you both. We have the best father. God bless. Amen there, producer. Amen. Martins, thank you very much. Also, if your name is not producer Martins and it's Martins, you just let us know. You got to remember to correct us, folks, if we pronounce it wrong. There you go. So thank you to those producers who came in over at patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. Fun little tip there. Also for our Patreon producers, there's a nice little treasure trove of old school bonus episodes that you can get to there if you ran out of things to listen to. Next we have, if you don't like Patreon, that's okay. A lot of people don't like Patreon, but we support you anyways by making available to you canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support has plenty of other options to become a producer there. We've got monthly producership options, and we thank all of our monthly producers for helping to lay down a foundation for the show. We've also got one-time producerships for those who, are just a little bit of afraid of commitment. That's okay. But you can come in with a producership in any amount for an individual episode. There's also cryptocurrency options, and you can read about the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. Gons, who do we have coming in on the PayPal?
PayPal, first up, we have producer Ismail S.
Thank you very much, Ismail S.
And next up, we have producer John L.
Thank you very much, producer John L. coming in with the 33 Illuminati Handler producership.
Yep. We have a handler for the episode. That's good to know. Next up, producer Allison G.
Thank you very much, producer Allison G.
I believe she is our executive producer for this episode.
I believe that is true. Thank you, executive producer Allison G.
Producer Brian S.
Woo! Thank you very much, producer Brian.
Yeah, very generous support there. Producer Saul A.
There he is. Thank you very much, producer Saul, with the pocket full of sevens.
And Shield Labs back again.
Yes. And thank you, producers. Shield Labs came in with a special number, a 1221, and a little note that says Romans plus $sign. So I looked up here, Romans 12:21, which is, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. That's good advice there. Thank you very much, Romans. And thank you, Shield Labs. Real quick, Gons, MM over on YouTube says, I don't have money. Can I donate a PS5 controller? You know what, MM? If we can find somebody to donate a PS5, I would be happy to accept the PS5 controller. Are you following the PlayStation 5 debacle, Gons?
No, I'm not. I have my PS4, but I don't think I was even able to get my hands on a PS5 if I wanted to, unless I
Nobody
wanted to.
can.
Yeah.
If you wanted one, you couldn't find one. You can only find them from on the sort of secondhand market. So there you go. If there's anybody who got their hands on a PS5 and just wants to become a producer.
Did they stop production on him or what?
I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, I think there was some problems.
I knew there were some problems last I heard, but
yeah, which were kind of illuminated by the Cyberpunk game.
Yeah, I just have a lot of time on my hands to play video games, so
yeah,
just waiting.
Yeah, that's where all the time that went to making Age of Deceit movies.
Yeah, the reason why it hasn't happened sooner is because all of my time is spent.
2 children and. Well, spend all your time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. 2 new children.
Yeah, newer children. Yeah.
One of them can feed themselves.
Yeah, and drive.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
so
work.
And work, yeah. So yes, we appreciate all of our supporters, producers. You can support us with your time and talent if treasures is not your thing. I mean, I guess you could send us a PS5 controller if you really want to, although I don't know what we would do with it other than say thank you.
Oh my gosh. On Twitch, we used to read every Twitch follower that came in, but Oprah Winfrey Official follows us on Twitch.
Hey, Oprah.
And Oprah Winfrey Official says, I just got my PS5.
Oh, you get a PS5.
Yeah, Oprah, give it out to all of
our
You
get a PS5.
people.
And you get a PS5. Yeah, that would be a great show to have us on and give us a PS5 and we'll scream. We'll go, ah! Okay, so yes, you can send us you can spend your time and talent to contribute to the show. And we accept things like jingles and sound clips. Some people have different kinds of talents. And we got a couple clips from Nick K, who sent us a couple of Gollum Canary Cry News Talk clips. So here's one of them.
It's Canary Cry Radio's, my precious. It's tantalizing and full of truth. Yes, yes, yes. Listen, you shall listen to the truth. This is my precious. My precious.
It's a little too good.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that as far as the talent people have put into producing the show, that is a new one. That is a first for sure. What is the name of this producer?
Producer Nick K.
Nick K. Wow. Very impressive.
Here's another one.
Oh my goodness, my precious Basils and Ganses, they're trying to ruin me. They do not care about Flipsies. Flipsies, my precious hamburgers.
That is fantastic. It's so good.
Oh my gosh! Wow! Thank you very much. I didn't even know what to say. That was great.
We will accept all kinds of
Yes,
voice impressions.
Really, is that the actual Gollum?
I'm pretty sure.
We should check Nick K's IMDb page. That might have actually been the voiceover artist for Gollum. Wow, thank you. The range of talents that are provided to us by our producers is truly incredible.
It's amazing. Yes, and of course, if you can't do voiceovers or Golems, or find Gollum to get his opinions on Canary Cry News Talk, you can send us art.
One art, please.
And this first piece comes from producer Allie.
Yay.
And she gives us Soylent Green Eggs and Ham.
This
the art
great.
is all Allie. The poem is a collaboration between Allie and Ebony Blaze, working together in perfect Seussian harmony to create this epic ode to cancel culture. You want to read it, Basil?
Yeah, and on the left, we've got just an exquisite cat in the hat, and on the right, we've got Dr. Seussian zebra or donkey. And sit down, kids. It's time for a story. I will still read censored books sold on eBay by some crooks. You should get them while you can, before they widen out the ban. It's 1984, you see, a brave new world for you and me. Burning books is lots of fun in Fahrenheit 451. And if I ran the People's Zoo, then maybe I would ban you too.
That was really good.
Very good, yes.
Very well done.
And of course, referring to the new revelations that Dr. Seuss was racist and banned and canceled.
Yeah, well, at least part of his work, not all of his work.
Very good, producer Allie and Ebony Blaze.
Yes, thank you very much. Very, very apropos to the topics we cover. Next up, we have one from producer Mike B. This is, come on, man, you're the Neanderthal. You're the Neanderthal. This is in reference to Biden calling Mayor Abbott of Texas a Neanderthal for opening up
Governor
Texas.
Abbott.
Or Governor Abbott. I'm sorry, Governor.
He called him a Neanderthal?
Oh, you didn't see this?
No.
Oh, you missed it.
I missed it.
Hey, we're not going to do the Neanderthal thing there in Texas. That's my
really?
attention. Yeah, let me see if I can find it real quick.
That's got to be racist by somebody's count, right?
Yeah, all the Neanderthals are like, ugh.
You can't discriminate against Neanderthals.
Yeah, they're going to come back and, with all the genetic stuff they're doing, they're going to resurrect him.
Apparently, a number of, I think it's like 2% of humans have Neanderthal DNA or something.
Oh yeah, you can do you give your DNA up to the thing, and they'll they'll
give your DNA to the AI gods. There was some news about that we did not cover. Some company, we'll have to bring it next time. But 23andMe got bought up by somebody.
Oh, they did.
So 23andMe got bought, which was always the concern that maybe they promised not to do anything with your DNA, which is false. They ended up selling it.
Yeah.
But now the new company, the EULAs are basically void now. They can decide to do whatever they want with the genomics.
Let me see this real quick.
Texas, I think it's a big mistake. Look, I hope everybody's realized by now, these masks make a difference. We are on the cusp of being able to fundamentally change the nature of this disease because of the way in which we're able to get vaccines in people's arms. We've been able to move that all the way up to the end of May to have enough for every American, every adult American to get a shot. And the last thing we need is the Neanderthal thinking that in the meantime, everything's fine, take off your mask, forget it. It still matters.
All right, there you go.
Wow. Not only is that like a really insulting thing to do, it reminds me of the debate with Trump where, Trump was loud and annoying, but Biden was he just resorted to name calling right off the bat.
What was it he
I
kept
don't know.
calling
He told
him?
him to shut up. He called him a clown.
A clown, that's right.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this clown.
Yeah, but the
listen
part
to
at
this
the beginning
clown.
where Biden is saying, I can't even remember it. Can you play the first part of that again? Sorry. It was just wild.
It's a big mistake. Look, I hope everybody's realized by now, these masks make a difference. We are on the cusp of being able to fundamentally change the nature of this disease because
Right
of the way
there.
in which
We are on the cusp of being able to fundamentally change the nature of the disease.
That doesn't make any sense.
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's literally just rambling, just talking and hoping that he fills the silence with something intelligible.
Look, he does that a lot too. Look, look.
Which is just a vocal pause. It's because he doesn't know what he's going to say.
So yeah, Biden Neanderthal, very good. Thank you, producer Mike B. Next up, we have one from producer Teresa.
Okay.
And this is more of a meme form. It's got Wolverine looking at a
laying in
picture.
bed, looking at a framed picture longingly.
Yes, and then it says me as Wolverine, and on the frame picture, Canary Cry Community March Meetup, Texas.
Yes. So producer Teresa is longing after the Canary Cry March meetup in Texas. So there you go. That's right. There's going to be an in-person Canary Cry meetup over there in Texas. You know what? I forgot to look up the details on that. I think it's the March 21st, but don't quote me on that. I'll let you move on to the next one while I look that up.
Sure. The next one is from producer Russell S. And this is, you have an all-seeing eye. It's another one of those collage montage type of deals. It's a transparent collage. It's got an all-seeing eye, but then it's got all the people with the black eyes, including
the Black Eye Club.
Yep. The Pope, you got John Kerry, George Bush Jr., the guy who played Iron Man. He got canceled in my brain, so I can't remember. Johnny, no, not Johnny. What's
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. Thank you. And so, yeah, there you go. And he's got the Illuminati thing back in the background from Eyes Wide Shut. So there you go. Very good. Thank you, producer Russell S. Next up, we have one from producer Cynthia P. And this is the Wacky White House.
Ooh.
And it's Pinky in the Brain. He's got Fauci as Pinky, and I think that's Bill Gates as Brain.
Yes, I think so as well.
And it says, "Don't mind the guy on the steps. Together we will take over the world." And that's the typical Pinky in the Brain line there. On the steps of the White House is Bernie Sanders is thing there, and on top of the White House,
his famous mittens picture.
Right, his mittens picture with the mask on, and on top of the White House, that looks like, is that Anubis? Can't tell if that's a.
Let me pop over and look. Oh, I think no, it's it's Coronavirus Man.
Oh, just Coronavirus Man.
Yeah, it's
okay.
just a red corona.
He's holding the virus.
Body.
Okay.
Yes, but he's got a coronavirus for a head.
Yeah, and then you got all the chemtrails up in the sky there. So a lot going on in this little image. Oh, you got the syringe too, with just the coronavirus inside the syringe.
Classic.
Very well done. Thank you, Cynthia P. Appreciate that. Next one is from producer Grace, and we haven't had a picture or a piece of art from producer Grace in a little while, but here it is. The first one, the quote, "It's like Mama always said, never strap knives to a rooster if you arm your roosters." Is that something you said? Sounds like something you would say.
Yeah, this was regarding the rooster who killed its owner with a knife strapped to its leg. Yeah, it's like Mama always said, never strap knives to your roosters. If you arm your roosters, your house is going to get slashed.
Ah, okay, it keeps going. I didn't realize this whole piece is
double
comment. But also, producer Grace sent us a note and said that she's had a head injury. So she hasn't been able to do art. She said, "I fell down the stairs and landed on my head." don't do that. It's not fun. Anyways, I'm back for more art. So good thing. I'm glad that you're okay, producer Grace. Just hope nobody was trying to take you out, for the outstanding artwork for Canary Cry News Talk. Maybe somebody.
I hope so as well.
Yeah. Yep. That is there anything else in the note here? So it's like Mom always said, never strap knives to a rooster. If you arm your roosters, your house is going to get slashed.
Yeah, so there are chickens surrounding the house. For those who can't see, there's a house surrounded by chickens, and that's Medium, Sauron, and Gandalf, and Dum Dum on the roof. They have knives strapped to them. If you look closely, Sauron is obviously the evil leader. The house is all slashed on the bottom. I think it's because it's either Grace or Grace's niece, if I remember, has chickens. You got to remind me, Grace, of the chicken situation. Grace has got a chicken situation over there. So I know Gandalf is one of their chickens.
Oh, right. Okay.
So maybe Sauron and Medium and Dum Dum
are real chickens in there.
Got a real chicken coop going on over there. Thank you very much, Producer Grace. I was blasting through the Texas meetup thread on Canary Cry Community. That's canarycry.community in case anybody wants to join up with other Canarians just like them. It is happening on March 21st. And I think they are still figuring out the location. But we got to, they're talking with the people in this group. But producer Ciara, when you figure out the details of this, let us know and we can announce it. Because I know that there was a lot of people who expressed interest, and they may not be on the canarycry.community. So I know they're trying to figure out the numbers, but yes, once it's all decided and we are notified, we will let the world know. We might need to do some sort of RSVP system for producer Ciara so it doesn't get out of hand.
Yep. We'll keep you posted. We got one more piece of art, and then we'll go into Arc from Destiny Lab. Okay. This last one is by Quantum Solace. And it's I think he's one of the Street Fighters, if I'm not mistaken. Is it? Okay, maybe not. I don't know. It's a guy. I think it's supposed to be Newsom. Holding up a thumbs up. He says, "Hey, California, you're welcome." And it says, "Newsom science."
Newsom science, baby. Ha!
And I have a funny little story to tell about the Newsom science. So I was my daughter was playing with a neighbor, and the neighbor dad, I'm talking to him about stuff, just random things, and he goes, "Hey, you want a box of masks?" And I'm like, I don't know, not really. He's like, "Well, I have all these boxes of masks, of these KN95 masks." And I'm like, KN95, interesting. Why do you have so many boxes of that? And he goes, "Oh, a neighbor gave it to me." And I was like, "Well, why does your neighbor have so many boxes?" He's like, "Oh, he was gambling and he lost a bunch of money, but apparently he got a bunch of boxes of masks." I was like,
"What does the gambling has to do with anything?"
I have no clue. I don't know.
Did he pay his rent?
He owed people money, and instead of paying them money, he gave them masks. Which is already kind of weird. But then I looked on the box.
Some apocalyptic bartering for sure.
I know. And then I looked on the box, and I noticed something. I have a photo that I took of the side of the box. KN95 protective masks, non-medical, 1,000 pieces, made in China. And I remembered that these are the masks that Governor Newsom bought from electric car company.
Right.
That he paid over $1 billion to give us, to make us these masks that didn't even pass the health protocol.
They were trash. He basically just bought $1 billion worth of trash.
Yes. And so I don't know how our neighbor got a box full of them, but yeah, I was
Very
like, "Oh,
suspicious.
these are the masks." So
that's funny.
I mean, Newsom's already shady, but he must be dealing in really shady circles where he's like, "I can't pay you, but here's 50,000 boxes of masks from China."
Yeah, maybe that's how the Postal Service is getting paid in California now.
Yeah, it's possible. But yeah, I was very surprised. I was like, oh, there it is. Those are the actual, and I know specifically because not only does it say it's from China, but it's the KN95 masks.
Right.
You can look up. So, yep, there's some news, some science right in my backyard.
Wow.
Yep.
Jonathan on YouTube said that last piece of art, he suspects it was Ryu.
Oh, Ryu. Okay.
Perhaps.
Interesting. Maybe.
And, we're talking about the Canary Cry meetup. I believe, don't quote me, we will be giving out the rest of the details. I believe they are meeting somewhere around Houston.
Yeah. Texas is a big state.
Is that right?
I don't know. Texas is a big state, so you
I know. I don't want to give any false information, but I also want to equip people to show up. So there you go. Don't quote me on that, but we'll give out more details, and I need permission to do that as well.
Sure.
And
just a quick thank you to Jade Bouncerson for the continued work on the timestamps, and I still need to read that email that they sent to me about how to get more people involved in getting that done. Maybe live too. That might help if we do that live. Oh, Ciara in the chat is saying Dallas. So
Dallas. Okay. It's going to be in the Dallas area.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anybody who's near Dallas, you should go on canarycry.community and find the Texas meetup thread and see what's going on. I do see people in the YouTube chat talking, naming their area and wanting to do a meetup there. Tri-state, is that the New York area, or is Tri-state just anywhere?
I thought Tri-state was New York.
I thought so too. New York area. Like New York, Pennsylvania. I don't know. We're bad at
geography. I can name all the states and their capitals. Louisiana,
we know.
Indianapolis, Indiana, and Columbus is the capital of.
I can sing Pinky and the Brain.
Oh, okay.
But where was I going with this? Oh, I was saying, we should maybe, I don't know, meetup.com. I don't know how much I like it. And I think you have to pay for it at a certain point. But I was thinking we probably should consider or explore putting together some sort of website or service where Canarians can put together meetups a little bit easier than just chatting in the YouTube chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I see Ark in the thing here. I'm going to add him in a moment. Are you ready to come back?
Oh, yeah. I think I am ready to wake up, you mean?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
All right. So let me work on adding Ark to the conversation as I try to kill time.
Sounds good. That's fine. I'm happy to kill time. Everybody knows that good old Basil loves to kill time, especially when we are coming out of the break. And here's the thing, folks. When we take a break, it is a moment to catch a breather, but it's also a moment to connect the technical wires in order to introduce our very good friend, Ark from Destiny Lab. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, you bet. I know it's been a while, but we had I gotta say, Gon's excellent job on the technical connections here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the visuals to work. So give me a moment, and that'll happen.
We'll keep working on it. But we're excited to have you here, buddy. And this is going to be a little bit of a switcheroo for us, but this will be fun. I know that many people in our chat watching the live show today are big fans of yours, big fans of Destiny Labs. And maybe for those who have never heard of you before, maybe you can start by giving us a little rundown before we get into the real meaty stuff. Let us know who you are, what you guys do, and what's the deal, man? What's the deal?
Yeah. Well, we've been making music since the mid-'90s, and and it's all kind of based on my own journey I grew up Christian, but then I kind of went off on my prodigal son journey in my mid-20s, kind of got deceived by the alien deception and evolution, all that kind of nonsense, and then started studying it back in my roots from a biblical perspective, because my brother started asking me some hard questions and introduced me to people like Chuck Missler and Kent Hovind and some of these guys. I started listening to them on cassette tape back in the mid-'90s and VHS, and really blew me away, opened my eyes to all these things. And I decided, and I'd been making hip-hop music for fun with lots of friends, and I'd also been into the paranormal, all this kind of strange, bizarre stuff all my life. I'm a special effects makeup artist and sculptor, so I am still kind of weird and into off-the-wall stuff, but I do it all from a Christian, Bible-based perspective. So I thought, and what better way to spread the gospel and also talk about all these deceptions, but hip-hop music, right? So I started making underground hip-hop music in the late 90s, and in 2004 officially formed Destiny Lab, and we just came out with our fourth album here recently in October called Shift Your Paradigm, which has been doing really well. And you guys have been blessed me enough to be on Age of Deceit documentaries showcasing some of my music, like Robophobia on Age of Deceit 3 and The Remnant, which have introduced a lot of people to my music. So that's always been greatly appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I got to say, I'm always happy to hear when, somebody finds your stuff through our work. But I'm even more excited when people find our show and they're like, oh, I heard you had the Destiny Lab boys on. I just got to check out your show. It's a nice feeling, when we get that nice little crossover. So cool, man. I love it.
Yeah, and you were on, I think, episode 140 of Canary Cry Radio. So if anybody wants to go check that out, I think I don't know, when was that? It seems like 140. We're on episode 150 something on Canary Cry Radio. So it should have been more recent, but I think it was years ago. Yeah, well, I would recommend, just a reminder for those who might need a reminder, Canary Cry Radio is a different show from Canary Cry News Talk. You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Canary Cry Radio is our interview style show. And so search that out and look for episode, what was it, 141, Gons? 140. 140, and you'll get a much deeper dive into the story, the life story, the legacy of Destiny Labs, and then you can come back and listen to this again. It might make more sense. Who knows? Basil. You know how I get really annoyed when people say revelations? Yeah, don't I plural? Ever? Yeah. You keep saying Destiny Labs, like plural. It's singular, bro. Oh, I was.
People do that all the time because of, what's the group?
Destiny Labs? Or no, not
Destiny's Child.
Destiny's Child, yeah.
Destiny's Child. You want to say Destiny's Lab or Destiny Labs, so yeah.
I didn't even notice. I said Destiny. Good. Didn't I say Destiny Labs' backstory? I forget. We got to review the tapes. So anyways, this is Art from Destiny's Child, and we're happy to have you here, man. It's really great. You're a big part of my teen years. You're coming of age. No doubt. All right. So what are we getting into, Gons? First off, let's briefly mention, so you said you have a new album. Let's mention that real quick, and then we have some stories that you sent that, because it is news talk, technically, we do want to review some stories that you sent, which look very, very interesting, and it's really reaching into history. But what's the latest album here?
Yeah, the latest album is Shift Your Paradigm, came out in October here just recently, so we've got a deal right now. If you order all 4 of our albums, we're going to throw in a free sticker for you. So if you go and mention this, that you heard us on Canary Cry, we'll throw in a free sticker. Also throw in a free download our concocted collabos, which is 30 additional songs just with me and other artists. So that's a total of 100 songs in total, and that sticker thrown in. So I'll hook you listeners up. If you want to do that, go to destinylab.com. And then I also podcast with my brother called Digging for the Truth with Ark and Neo. So if anybody wants to check that out, that's kind of where I've got some of these articles. We have done some podcasts about old newspaper stories, and originally more talking about like the Nephilim and giants and all the old newspaper stories we found on giants. And so we started a Facebook page called Old Newspaper Stories. It's a Facebook group that you can join if you look that up. And all these articles we found, well, then I started digging into some other unusual topics. So yeah, we'll get into those things. I figured it might be pretty interesting for your listeners to hear some of these things that I found.
Yeah, so this the first one you sent us, and these look like they're very old. This one's from September 6th, 1914. And the headline is "A Food That Does Away with Youth. Remarkable discoveries about a glands in the brain that may enable science rapidly to turn children into men, chicks into chickens, calves into cows, and sate war's appetite for meat and men." You know, I thought dailymail.co.uk was the king of like long headlines, but this subheadline, they've been doing it for a while apparently. What's this all about here?
So can people see this at all or not?
Yeah, they can see the headline, and I can kind of move it around if you wanted to.
Okay, so you can see there's a picture of people kind of marching into Molech's mouth there as well. But what's fascinating about this, you know, there's the whole recent thing. There's all this recent thing of hipsters into the pineal gland, awakening their pineal gland, cleansing their pineal gland, opening their third eye, all this stuff. You know, this has been going on for a long, long time. It's nothing new. Like I said, nothing's new under the sun.
Yeah.
But what's fascinating, you know, I'm not sure if you're aware that the bones, the skull and bones, have a actual sacred rite of eating a pineal gland, supposedly, and they call it the obscene rite. And so it's kind of weird that kind of blends into this. But what they're saying here in this article is literally that they're feeding ground up pineal glands of baby animals. So if you had a baby rabbit, for instance, they would kill a bunch of baby rabbits, dissect their brains, extract the pineal glands of these babies until they had a whole bunch of them, and then fed those to other baby rabbits. And they found out when they do this with any animal, not just rabbits, but all kinds of animals they did this with, that they would grow into giants.
What?
What in the world's going on here? So I don't know if you want to read this article or want me to or whatever, but it's really...
Yeah, we can dig into a little bit here.
Yeah, I think this is definitely worth looking into. I don't know if I have the right link for that one, Guns. You might need to replace that, but just so I can take a look at it.
Yeah, let me do that real quick, and then I can read the article here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. I do have the wrong link. Oh, no, there's some freezing going on. Oh, there you go. It says here, in one of H.G. Wells' imaginative works, The Food of the Gods, he conceived a magic food which made giants of men, animals, and vegetables. Even more remarkable is a scientific discovery just brought to light, the effect of which may be not only to supply food for the warring nations in a manner never before conceived, but may likewise furnish, quote, made to order men to fill up the decimated ranks of the contending armies.
Oh, I love how it comes straight at it with the military angle. It kind of reminds me of the Clone Wars and Star Wars, like a army made to order.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, out of children turned into men.
Yeah,
wow.
Soldiers.
Yeah, it says here, in a word, this new scientific food eliminates youth, or rather hastens maturity. Food animals born within the past few weeks and which, in the ordinary course of events, would not be available as food for European soldiers for many months to come, may, by the application of the new discovery, be made available within as many weeks.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I love this next part. While children who ordinarily would not be old enough to fight for their country for 10 or 15 years, that's not long enough. 10 or 15 years. Oh, these poor child soldiers.
1 or 2 years old.
Yeah. Perhaps be developed so expeditiously that they may take an active part in the war within a year or two if the conflict lasts that long. Oh my gosh, dude, this is crazy. This, you know what's even crazier about this? It reminds me of our show. If Canary Cry News Talk was a show in 1914, we would definitely be reading this article.
Yeah, maybe we're not we're not so cutting edge after all. We're 100 years late to the party.
This might have to become a new segment on the show. This is a great.
Dude, this is the tip of the iceberg. I have dozens and dozens and dozens. We want to make like a coffee book or a coffee table book full of these or something like that.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Awesome. So yeah, anybody want to get in on that and hit me up, Destiny Lab.
We might be able to make that happen, man. We could do a team up, get this sucker funded. I want to get to some of the other ones, but I have to read some more parts of this article because it's crazy. Let's see here. Yeah. The pineal gland were obtained from partly from calves, partly from young adults, approximating 3 years. Am I reading that correctly? Adults, young adults. Adulas, I don't know, approximating 3 years, and partly from the general run of cattle from the abattoirs. The glands averaged 2.11 grains in weight. Sorry, folks, if it's a little hard to read this, it's because it is literally a scan from an old newspaper. There was a marked difference in size and shape in the many thousands of glands which made up the several pounds, thank you, which were used in the course of the experiments. Oh my gosh, this is too many pineal glands, man.
It's so weird. They say it so matter of fact too. They're like, we grinded these pineal glands and.
Well, and like you mentioned, the illustration is of a bunch of people walking into the jaws of Moloch, and underneath that, the caption, much like if we were on Instagram or something, the caption for this illustration is "Victims of Moloch into the open and fiery jaws of a monster representing war. Millions of submissive slaves are meekly advancing, accompanied by ignorant multitudes and carrying the product of their labor." Wow. And I mean, in a sense, this is supposed to be representing, I think, the grown army, the pineal gland army that has been risen up just to be sent into the jaws of war.
Yeah, just mind-numbed robots, marching into the jaws of war there. And if you see there lower, there's a picture of 2 chickens, one smaller and one larger, and that's the actual picture of a giant chicken that grew big.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
How have
we never heard of this before, Gons?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard of some of the pineal gland. I was gonna say I've heard of some of the pineal gland stuff about the eating of it, but I've never seen any articles from it. So that's pretty
neither
incredible.
have I. It's almost like a shadowy group of elites have been trying to hide this secret information.
Well, that's what's so fascinating is all this stuff is on microfiche film, and so for years, it's been there, but to find it, you'd have to go through thousands and thousands of rolls of film just randomly find it. Well, now they've actually hooked up search engine algorithms that can search out keywords. So now you can actually look up keywords within these super old, back 1700s, And it's unbelievable because they're just blatantly honest about this stuff. There's no censorship about it. The stuff they talk about. They have all kinds of articles on Bohemian Grove talking about who goes there, what they're doing this weekend, what music's going to be playing. I mean, just open and like as if just everyday news. It's incredible.
You mean my dream of becoming an NBA superstar could have been? I could still do it. I just need to find some pineal gland to chew up. Should have told my parents about that one. It says here, this is, oh man, this is kind of disturbing here. They talk about some experiments here, and they said that they had done experiments on 14 chicks and 18 pups with equally satisfactory results. In the case of the dogs, particular attention was paid to mental development. The pineal-fed puppies, they fed puppies pineal glands, were about a month ahead of the others. They were the first to learn to lap milk, the first to respond to a call, and the first to be able to find their way back to the kennel. Another experiment was conducted on a group of 48 guinea pigs divided into test and control lots. There was, I'm trying to zoom in here. There was an equal number of males and females in each lot, but the males and females were separated. The test pigs were fed pineal gland when they were 2 weeks old, and the diet was continued for 9 weeks. The males and females were then placed together in breeding pens. All except 2 of the pineal-fed pigs gave birth to young before the first of the control. The difference between the birth of young in the first pineal-fed pig and the first control pig being 14 days. So are they saying that they basically started mating and having babies way sooner? Or?
It's so interesting that kind of connects with this. I was just looking at the growth rate of human beings in the first part of the 20th century, which is just about when this article is written. And it says, in general, the average height of both men and women from the beginning of the 20th century to about the mid 20th century grew. The exact numbers were like in the beginning of the 20th century, about 5% of the population were 6 feet and over. And by the middle of the 20th century, it was up like 25%. So the average height of human beings skyrocketed over just a course of like 40 years. And it lines up right with this pineal gland chomping experiment. So this is a little concerning to me.
But this is really good to know too, because, Basil, you're into your alpha brain stuff. When they start promoting the pineal gland, the grind up to pineal gland in your alpha brain or whatever.
Oh gosh.
We'll know we'll know what they're up to. People are going to have like ginormous heads.
If you look at one of the other articles I sent you, the title of the article is "Backward Children Are Helped by Medical Use of Pineal Gland Extract."
I was just looking at this one.
Comparing these children to the Cyclops, which then follows into my other article I sent, which will put the nail in the coffin. But if you look at that one, it talks about how they started doing this on actual humans.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. This is
to make retarded or mentally challenged children smarter.
Yeah, this is from September 22nd of 1915, Backward Children. Wow, what a way to put that. What a way to state that.
little different. PC back then.
Developmentally challenged, backward children are helped by medicinal use of pineal gland extract. Oh my gosh, you're right. They did do it in humans. Situated as if it were the third eye of a cyclops in the forepart of the gray matter and connected by 2 little strands to the so-called optic thalamic of the brain is a tiny hollow globule, the pineal gland, about the size of a pea, of a pale yellowish hue. This is the little gland once thought by Descartes and other philosophers
Descartes, yeah.
To be the seat of the soul. Modern science has regarded the pineal body as the remnant of an undeveloped third eye. Physiologists, however, have rather discredited the doctrines of evolution and by experiment have shown that the strange little gland exerts a marked influence over all the other tissues of the human skeleton, particularly mental and sexual growth. Oh gosh, we don't need to get into both of those here, guys. Dr. Carrie Pratt McCord of Detroit has just undertaken a series of experiments with small animals, which indicate beyond cavil that pineal gland substance from cattle, given the food, causes precocious development of younger animals, chickens, puppies, calves, and guinea pigs. That's the one we just read. And then it goes into experiments on young. Pineal gland substance, however, taken from calves and young animals yielded at once very important results. The young creatures fed with young glands grew and matured rapidly and acquired the full weight and sexual development of adults in a few weeks' time. Strange to say, the instant the young guinea pigs or other animals become thus full grown and parental, the pineal gland lost its effects. Although, for Dr. McCord, tried hard, he could not produce giants or other extraordinary features. The extract from the pineal gland seems potent only to produce precocity, and full development in a short space of time. Let's see here. Ooh, wow, they really jumped into this whole thing. Let me just keep going. Besides feeding the gland, and in order to escape the action of the, peptogen and other enzymes of the stomach and liver, hypodermic injections of pineal gland from lambs were administered to 48 animals, and there was no great advantage manifest in this method over mouth feeding. Hence, the pineal gland may be given as a medicine in the food. Offspring more robust. Mother animals fed young pineal glands gave birth to their offspring earlier than those not so fed. Moreover, the mothers thus fed with the pineal glands of calves brought forth offspring 1/3 larger than the others. The father animals were equally large, robust, and fully developed when so fed. Indeed, the power of the pineal gland in augmenting vitality, weight, mental alertness, and vigor was about equally great for both male and female animals. The animals experimentally investigated gave seemingly complete evidence to show that pineal gland may be advantageously used upon children when for their ages they are sexually, physically, or mentally below par. It remains to be seen whether equally important uses can be found medicinally among human creatures for pineal gland. The dry extract has already been used for backward children with occasional success. Wow, yeah, there it is. These experiments would seem to point to that practice and method as correct. Holy moly.
Yeah, and it's well known that the interior walls of the pineal gland do have rods and cones, much like our eyes do. So that's partly why people have thought that it's, a devolved third eye or whatever. But
it's interesting how we don't hear about this anymore. I mean, this is it makes me wonder if the ingredient of pineal gland has gone under another name, like maybe it has some more sciencey name and appears in products.
Or maybe they've been able to reproduce the extract in some way and then copyright it,
like a synthetic form. Yeah, so they can patent it.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I will say, if you run in the New Age circles, a lot of New Agers do still talk about the pineal gland, but they're all about accessing it, right? Like reaccessing it and decalcifying it and a lot of those kinds of things. So I'll ask you this, Ark, what do you think about that? I mean, is there something to what those New Agers are saying in terms of decalcifying your pineal gland to access the third eye and become more awake and whatever, attuned to the universe and all that kind of stuff that they talk about?
Oh, I got a lot of questions. It's like, how do you know if your pineal gland is calcified to begin with or uncalcified once you're finished? Where you have access to see your pineal gland? How do you know that your pineal gland needs anything or is open? For instance, I opened my pineal gland finally, or my third eye. How do you know? I mean, you have some sort of proof of that. Or when they say the pineal gland looks like the eye of Isis or something like that.
Eye of Horus, when you slice it sideways.
Eye of Horus. Yeah, but they never show a real pineal gland. It's always a drawing of a pineal gland or a drawing of a half section of a brain or like a sculpture. It's like a doctor's sculpture like in his office. It's not a real brain. And how did people know that? How would people sometimes oh yeah, pineal glands look just like pine cones? Because I see on a regular basis see human pineal glands. I mean, if there was something going on where people were getting access to see what a pineal gland even looked like, how would you know it looked like a pine cone? And it was needed open, all these different things. It just seems very strange. I think it all has to come from some sort of channeled information, in my opinion. Which, if you go back far enough, all these exceptions, one form or another, come from channeled information. And if they can find different channelers that agree on it, then hooray, it must be true. But there are all these over. One of the other articles I sent you was from it was from a guy who claims that he ran across a group of learned men that were like a secret society that had something called philosopher's snuff. And with this philosopher's snuff was a very, very common thing. Everybody had these snuff containers and would take snuff. Well, this philosopher's snuff would allow you to exit your body and enter the pineal gland of any person that you so choose. And so you could have these out-of-body experiences, and that this group of secret society men were doing this. And it goes into kind of talking about that. And one of the articles I sent you.
Yeah,
I got this. Is this a reverie?
Yeah, a reverie, yes. Page 58. Yeah. It reads kind of like a story. What is this from?
Yeah, those F's are pronounced as S's. It's in some old-timey language here, if we want to try to make it through here.
1700s.
Yeah, 76 is what it says. Miscellaneous essays and occasional writings of Francis Hopkinson, Volume 1, I believe, Philadelphia. And do you want to try, Basil, since you're better at the accents?
I've been doing a little bit of I've been warming up on it for a second here. I accidentally opened the 35th number of The Guardian, wherein a correspondent informs the author that some learned men having determined the pineal gland to be chief seat of the soul's residence. Sorry, all the S's are F's in this, so it takes a second. Residence. He had procured from a great philosopher a box of snuff, which had this remarkable property that a pinch of it, duly administered, would so affect his pineal gland as to enable his soul to leave her residence for a while and enter that of any other person. Where, wow, even some of the T's are F's. This guy just had a F key stuck on his thing. Where she, in a moment, become acquainted with all the stranger's ideas, knowledge, and pursuits by mere intuition. After reading the paper, I closed the book, and reflecting on the singularity of the thought, I fell into one of those deep reveries in which the mind is entirely absorbed and rendered for a while totally inattentive to the objects of the senses, forming a kind of waking dream. I fancied myself possessed of some of this extraordinary snuff, and enabled thereby to examine a variety of characters, divested of all dissimulation. My heated imagination led me a long chase through the intricate windings of the human heart. The rapidity of my progress made it impossible to delineate my observations on paper, for it takes a great deal more time to write than to think. But I will try to recollect 2 or 3 of my exertions for your amusement. Should I keep going here? It goes into like a long conversation with
I think it's
some sort of being.
It gets a little hard to understand, but
it gets even crazier.
Yeah,
but yeah, this is 1776. They were taking this pineal gland snuff.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the final really interesting one is the one from October 1894, with the giant 33-foot Cyclops man.
Woo! I don't have the link to that one, Gon, so that's all you.
Oh, I thought it's in there. Let me check real quick.
It's looked like it tried to censor itself.
Ooh.
Yeah, like the link has a bunch of dashes. Oh wait, let's see if this works.
I just recreated the link for you. I revitalized it.
Relinked.
Yeah, so there's a picture of a guy with a third eye, obviously on his forehead. Looks like he's holding a walking stick there. And I'm trying to pull back so I can get the headline of this article. It's kind of hard to get it to work here.
Men will be big.
Yeah, hold on one second. Where's the actual headline? Oh.
Yeah, where does this article start here? Oh, I see. The giant man with the walking stick.
Yeah, I see the giant man with the walking stick.
It's above the picture.
It's above the picture. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Men will be big. What happens if I click on this? Oh, that's nice. That makes it easier. Okay, hold on. Yeah, and for those who are just listening, we are making our way through. This is on the Center for Bibliographical Studies and Research, and these are all copied, like you said, microfiche copies of these articles. So we have to make our way through the original text here. And it says, men will be big. When the 6th race is born to life, a new theosophic belief. 33 feet will be an average height. 3 eyes for human beings. The vulgar clothing of the present day will be discarded in the new utopia. Oh, good. This is what our elites are still trying to get us to. So let's see what they had to say. Although of but recent development, if not origin, the doctrine of theosophy has become sponsor for some very startling theories and ideas. Ever since MME. Oh, Madame Blavatsky's ISIS Unveiled. And other works produced such a sensation in certain circles, the Belivera in the faith have introduced, as they increased in numbers, series after series of new and original planks, as it were, in the platform of their belief. The recent Congress revealed to what depths the Theosophian mind can travel and what revelations of a thrilling character they can bring forth, among other things in which they have... Wow, that's a big illustration they have there. Scrolling.
I think the text is written on the left side there.
No, it goes down below here. A firm belief is the certainty of the appearance of the 6th race, and judging from all that has been said of that race, it is going to be a marvelous one. In her lectures in this country since her arrival, the Countess Wachtmeister, who was for many years Madame Blavatsky's most intimate companion, has announced that this race is going to appear in America, and that very shortly the advent of this superior race has not been talked of outside society much until the Countess began to lecture. William Q. Judge, the distinguished and assertive theosophist of New York, has some very pronounced views upon the 6th race, its personal appearance and characteristics, he says that the men will be 33 feet in height and that they will wear no clothing. That is the kind of covering which we designate as clothing. Ooh, that is not what this illustration says. It sounds like they were too afraid to print according to the word of Blavatsky there. In explaining his theories, Mr. Judge says that Theosophic philosophy divided life on this globe into 7 races, or 7 great families of people. This septenary division is an assertion based upon the rules in nature, which has been remarked by sages of all ages. Each race is marked by the development of a sense which the previous race had not at all, or possessed only in a rudimentary degree. Then it goes into all the races. Let's see here. The first race came into existence millions upon millions of years ago. The third race underwent a great change.
That's the whole theosophy narrative cosmology there.
Right.
It goes through the different race.
But notice how they have the third eye. Their pineal gland is exposed.
Yeah, later on the bottom here, it says one of the most interesting things about this new race is the third eye. The belief is based upon 2 little organs in the brain, the pineal gland and the pituitary body, which are connected and which physiologists have not found to be of any use whatsoever. They are about as big as an end of your finger. Some lizards and frogs and various other animals have a third eye in the top of the head. Sometimes this eye is used and sometimes it is not. The theosophic, the text here is kind of messed up. The theosophists believe that the time was when man had a third eye on top of his head, but that it disappeared into the center of his brain, and that the pineal gland is now, nil that is left of it, or now that is left of it. They believe it was an actual workable eye. In the 6th race, they think that this eye will again appear. They think that it will be a visible eye, somewhat larger than the other eyes, and that it will have powerful sight physically, and moreover, it will have spiritual vision, and that individuals will be able to see everything everywhere. Mr. Judge doesn't, quote, that sex will disappear in the 6th race. It's interesting. I just go right into that. Women will continue to be more refined and beautiful than men. Children will take a deal less time to reach maturity than at present, or they will not have so much to learn. In the 7th race, it is held there will be no sex, but that entities will reproduce themselves. Maybe that's why we have all this trans stuff happening now, huh?
Yeah.
Mr. Judge says that the 6th race will make its own clothing out of its own mind. It will be a spiritual, a magnetic garb. It will have a luminous appearance. Men and women will look as if they were sort of electric light. A color.
It sounds like some beast fashion guns.
Yeah, it does. The color and brilliancy of this garb will depend upon the individual, his character, and stage development. The lower persons will not be so luminous as the higher, and the prevailing color of the garb of the lower orders will be dull gray. The proportions of the individual will be almost perfect, probably following the canons of Greek art. The muscular strength will be much less than at present, for there will be no need for it. Individuals will have broad, open foreheads with no wrinkles, even when they have reached 1,000 years of age. They will have magnificent large eyes, the prevailing color of which will be blue. The eyes will emit a brilliant light. Of course, the third eye will be larger and more brilliant than the others. The eyes will be placed in a horizontal line. The nose will be straight, strong, and finely chiseled. Mr. Judge wasn't willing to hazard a guess upon the mouth,
we
the
get
teeth.
it. Madame Blavatsky is a huge fan of these very good-looking giant people.
With giant eyeballs.
So specific.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've noticed about a lot of Blavatsky writings. It's like I think she had too much time on her hands. She goes into excruciating detail about a lot of stuff that really doesn't matter too much. But
and it's kind of a hypnotic practice too.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, if you get into detailing every square inch of a 33-foot person, it's kind of reminiscent of like a reverie, like a hypnotic reverie, almost like a what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, I can't think of it. But, in the theosophical worldview, ascending into the hypnotic reveries to, find the secrets of the universe.
It's like a poem trance. It's a
right.
Anything that is repeated and rhythmic, just like, drumming, twirling, all these things, breathing exercises, they can all put people in these hypnotic trances, not just ayahuasca and DMT, but people can do it just through rhythmic practices. And I think that's kind of what that is.
Like the whirling dervish.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This stuff is very fascinating. And I know you've been researching this stuff for a while, but do you think, obviously, Eastern mysticism and the New Age, they really talk about the pineal gland and a lot of that kind of thing. Do you think that the mark of the beast talks about a mark on the forehead? Do you think this has anything to do with it, or is this just part of just another deception here?
Well, it's like, Satan always has these inverted kind of
counterfeits.
Plants, counterfeits, and seeds that he plants, and things that repeat through time that you see over and over. It's like the Hindus with their put the dot on their forehead, or Ash Wednesday with the Catholics. There's a lot of like interesting parallels that we see in spiritual realms. That third eye idea goes way back. They found ancient Aryan mummies with a third eye tattoo right on their foreheads as well. They claim that a lot of these original Tibetan or Buddhist ideas actually came from this Aryan race with blue-eyed, blonde and red-haired giant beings. And there's actual, paintings in Buddhist caves and stuff of these people. And they found mummies of like 7-foot giant Aryans in China that have that exact tattoo on their forehead. You can see the mummy. And so it's pretty interesting that there's a lot of overlaps for sure. And it's nothing new. These hipsters that think they discovered something brand new, it's into for a long, long time for whatever reason. So I think, and like I said, I think it comes through channeled information. It comes through the fallen angels. Just somehow it is some sort of truth. There is some sort of relevance to it, and they're inverting it, they're twisting it, they're masquerading it as something else, just like they do with everything.
Right. Yeah. And I there was also something that I mentioned, I think in Age of Deceit 2, I think in the realm of alchemy, the homunculus, or, in Jewish mysticism, it's the golem. They also talk about how they put a mark on the forehead to bring these non-living things to life. And so it's a very common thing that you see throughout history. And I'm noticing people in the chat talk about the Neuralink, and that for sure has probably something to do with Elon Musk wanting to connect your pineal gland, or connect all the pineal glands to create one giant pineal hive mind or something. It's certainly possible in the realm of all this stuff taking place.
Well, and there was that, this was an early on set of comments about Neuralink and other cybernetic implants, brain implants, is that it would open up human creativity, take the creativity to the next level, make expressing creativity more automatic than it is a tactile skill. And oftentimes, especially with the new agey people, the pineal gland is connected with not just certain powers, but also access to other realms to bring creative stuff into our realm. So it's very interesting how just seeing from over 100 years ago, these discussions about the pineal gland and how it's the thing that will expand the regular humans into 6 more races and make them better and better looking and no wrinkles and smooth and so beautiful. It's been over 100 years. And we're like, we haven't changed at all. It's still the exact same like core drives for science, especially.
Yeah, it always gears toward the ego. Ye shall be your own God. Something that will tell you all you need to do is look within. All you need to do is just stop. Don't resist. Just let everything inside. And that's kind of what the same story that repeats when they interact with these entities, whether it be aliens, DMT, ayahuasca trip, or shadow beings, or your grandma on the Ouija board. And that's the thing about this whole hive mind thing. We're able to access what people think they're able to access. Their grandma or something through a seance or a Ouija board, but they're actually talking to these familiar spirits, So I think what's going to happen is these things are going to take masquerade to a whole new level and pretend that people are downloaded their consciousness. So imagine hooking up to a device that claims that it can download someone's consciousness, and then you can ask this machine or black box a question, and it repeats back anything that person kind of would know, just like a familiar spirit does through a Ouija board or a seance, and that this thing would just basically become a hive mind of demonic familiar spirits that are familiar to all those people who went with it through whatever ritual or intent, alchemical process that is allowing them to pretend to upload their mind to this hive mind when it really doesn't have to be any type of technology at all. It's just we assume it's technology, and it's really just a giant Ouija board in disguise.
Yeah,
ooh, giant Ouija board in disguise.
Yeah, we've talked, and I think there's clips of it in one of your songs on this album that quotes the guy from D-Wave. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Jordy Rose.
Jordy Rose, thank you. Yeah, where he's basically saying that we're summoning entities and that these entities will be far beyond us, and they're gonna see us as
they're admitting it. They're admitting that they're talking with these beings, that they're not good, they're not bad. They're kind of like the great old ones of HP Lovecraft, and they don't really care about you because they're just so smart. It's the same way they describe the enlightened entities or enlightened masters of old. It's kind of the same type of thing.
You'd think people would notice that pattern. It's like, oh, that sounds like the demons that people have been talking to for centuries. Now that this quantum science guy.
Especially when, like Joe Jordan has found, when you rebuke these entities in the name and authority of Jesus, they actually leave.
Right.
People have been through sleep paralysis, alien abduction experiences for sometimes decades, never to get rid of it, suddenly recognize these things are demonic, call them out as what they are in the authority and name of Jesus Christ, and they actually leave, never to return again. It's actually a cure for sleep paralysis and alien abductions.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. I do want to do one more story here, and it really is apropos to what we're doing. It's a Nephilim update. And this is from Reuters.com. They tend to do this every few months. And we were talking about how they're just recycling a lot of stories right now for some reason, like stuff that they had published years ago. And this Reuters article is fact check: images of alleged giant human skeletons are altered. And and it says here, posts in a Facebook group for flat earth conspiracy theorists claim to show images of colossal human remains shared as alleged proof that gigantic humans once roamed the earth. These pictures have been altered and are part of an internet hoax that has been around for more than 15 years. And let me just show you the actual pictures here, because they are some of the most mundane and obviously faked photos that are out there. Let's see.
Like
come on,
mud
Facebook.
fossils.
Yeah, so this first one is, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see this, Ark?
I can't. No, all I see is Basil. I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
what's
that's
going
right.
on.
I have...
Got to tune into the stream, man.
I know. I'm sharing my screen now. So, yeah, this first one is, it's a skeleton in the ground, and there's a few people in some the highlight-colored vests working on it. And you can clearly tell. I mean, you can tell it's Photoshopped. I mean,
Yeah, my goodness.
it's pretty obvious that anyone that's got, any moment of clarity will see this and say, yeah, this doesn't look real. And then the other one here, altered photo. Independent fact checkers say this information could mislead people. Oh, no. Thank you, Facebook, for telling me.
Let us be misled.
And it's a dual picture. It's a picture of a skeleton on the left with some people, archaeologists, kind of digging it up. And on the right is what looks like a book cover by Fritz Zimmerman with the forward by L.A. Marzulli there. But yeah, that's clearly like a Photoshop job there. It's like a large-headed being. I mean, come on. This is like, I don't know. It's just ridiculous how they try to debunk it with, it's building a straw man, and taking some of the stuff that's obviously fake and saying, oh, look how fake it is. And Reuters seems to do that. And they rope in the flat earthers into this. And what are your thoughts on that? But we don't have to get into it too deep, but they...
That's exactly what's happening is reel them in and then feed them disinformation. So you'll see this with a lot of real true things like the Nephilim, for instance. People look up Nephilim. Well, now all you see is mud fossils, these gigantic, mountains of so-called Nephilim that are miles long, and these fake pictures that obviously are fake. So imagine being a newcomer to this and looking, hey, I want to see if the Nephilim are real. And then it's just all this disinformation. It's like, oh, that's what these people believe?
Right.
Well, forget that. It's like the flat earth. It's like, I think a lot of it has to do with this, the documentary that's put out called The Principle. And you've talked with, what's his name? Rick Delano, I think his name is.
Yeah.
The guy. And that right after that happened, all of a sudden, flat earth became this giant thing. And somebody put in a lot of money to attach whenever you type in geocentric model to all of a sudden bring up, oh, that means you're into also flat earth. And the same is true with dinosaurs don't exist movement. The dinosaurs don't exist movement was proven to be started by a group of atheists. I have actual factual information that proves that was started by a group of atheists as disinformation, as like a gag to see if creationists would fall for it. Now all these creationists believe, yeah, dinosaurs don't even exist. It's really, really it's sad to see because, yeah, you got to know that the enemy, whenever anything's true, he's going to attach this disinformation to it to mislead people down these other rabbit holes that have nothing to do with the real evidence or the real truth. So
yeah, and I've heard about the trees don't exist theory that some flat earthers peddle, and that's when I started to really think like, okay, this isn't just disinfo, but this is like a true psyop of getting people to really go down rabbit trails that are, in the end, they're pretty fruitless, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't know, that I know for sure that the tree thing is fake. I don't know if you've heard of the ancient tree truth thing here, but they talk about it here. It says, as explained here in the previous Reuters fact check, the group speaks to a belief among flat earther conspiracy theorists who contend that our planet is not a globe but a flat surface, and that, quote, real trees no longer exist. Followers of this conspiracy contend not only that
trees are not real.
Yeah, quote, the trees we see now are small ersatz versions of giant 20-mile-high trees that used to exist on Earth in ancient times, as related to the Quartz article here, but also that giants who once roamed the Earth were the ones who cut them down. In 2007 article in National Geographic stated, quote, rampant reports and pictures of alleged giant skeletons which it describes as obviously fake, blah, blah, blah. The reason why they brought up the tree thing is because I think the Devil's, what is it called? The Devil's Tower?
Devil's Tower, yeah. And Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Right. They say that that used to be, a giant tree, and it's just a tree stump now. And so, the Devil's Tower, yeah, in Wyoming. So sure, like that. It's interesting how they mix it all up into this one giant thing, and they attack the Facebook group called the Flat Earth Nephilim Hybrid Giant Biblical Truth that has 7,000 members on Facebook, and there's a part of me that's like, yeah, it's good to explore different ideas and see what's out there,
sure.
Because you never know, but also. You're at this point in the game, I feel like there's a lot of stuff out there that's meant to discredit all believers, and that's what I see happening with some of this stuff. Is like people bite on the they get fed misinformation, they bite, they take the bait, and they're lost in some rabbit trail that doesn't really matter anymore, and then they start arguing about it, and that's kind of what I've noticed with some of the flat earth stuff too and look, that's not all. I'm not saying all flat earthers are bad people or bad believers. They're not.
Yeah, no.
But
not at all.
I often, the people that are the most outspoken flat earthers will say, you don't read your Bible. You're not a believer if you believe the globe earth lie and all this kind of stuff. It's like, your faith shouldn't be based on the shape of the earth. Like, it really shouldn't. But some people, for some people it is, and it's troubling. But I like how they try to just mix it all into this one big mesh in this Reuters article that's fact checking. And if anybody was curious, they could just go back to some of these older articles from 100 years ago and see that it was much more openly discussed, these plans and ideas out in the open, probably because the reach of the publications weren't as far. But yeah, it's very fascinating. I find it all interesting, and I think we're in this time now where we're drowning with information, and so it's even more difficult to weed out what is true. But obviously, we hold on to the ultimate truth here. So, any other comments on some of this stuff here? At least the fact checking by Reuters.
Speaking of Flippy arm, I got my original Armatron.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Dazzle jealous.
We've got a Flippy lover, everybody. That thing is awesome, man. I need to get my little desktop Flippy.
Yeah. I've had that since I was in like 6th grade.
That's so funny because, they're trying to sell all these new desktop Flippies for thousands of dollars. You've had yours for what? At least 10 years.
It's 86 or something like that. I can't remember what year. It's been around for a while.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, thank you so much, Art. Now, one last time before we wrap up the show here, tell everybody where we can find your work, find the new album, and then we're gonna make you go on record again about this special deal you're giving our Canarians.
That's right. Yeah. So DestinyLab.com. If you go there and mention that you heard about us, heard about the music through Canary Cry, I'll throw in a free Destiny Lab sticker, new 5-inch stickers that we got to go along with your album. Our new album's Destiny Lab, the Shift Your Paradigm. If you buy all 4 albums, you can get all 4 albums for $40, and then we'll also throw in additional 30-song download, which is our Concocted Collabos album, which is just a digital-only album, but we'll throw that in as a digital download for you. So it's like 100 songs total for $40 plus the free stickers.
That's a great deal. And we also have people asking about the that Facebook group you mentioned about the old newspaper articles.
Yeah. Old Newspaper Stories is the website or the Facebook group that my brother and I run. And if you like a lot of stuff we talk a lot of the same stuff you guys talk about, but aren't quite as well put together. You know, you can check out our podcast, Digging for the Truth with Ark and Neo. We do that about once a week, so you can check that out. And then we've got all kinds of archives at our YouTube.com/Destiny Lab, with tons of music videos, which are really good for sharing this information, planting seeds about some of these subjects that we talk about, because it gives not only the audio of what we're talking about, but then visuals to go along with it. So it's great for witnessing, planting seeds to people. And then we got a Patreon as well, patreon.com/Destiny Lab, if you want to hear behind the scenes and live performances and stuff that has never been published. So.
Awesome. There you go, folks. Go get connected. Go get some music, and make sure to check out all the great work coming out of Destiny Lab. Not Destiny's Child, although, you know what? I'm sure they still have some fans, but Destiny Lab is way better. So go do that. All right, buddy. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been a real pleasure. Always a fun time with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Pleasure was mine. And yeah, if you guys want to do a weekly get together, let me know.
All right, buddy. We'll definitely stay in contact. Okay, there we go, everybody. Make sure to check out one more time Destiny Lab, DestinyLab.com. Check them out on YouTube, and of course, all the other great work that Ark and his posse are getting made over there. All right, Gons, what do you think? Should we? You bet, buddy. Take it easy. All right, Gons, you have any last things you want to do before we end the show here?
No, not really. I have to fix you now, because now you're out of frame for those of you watching, which it's not the worst thing in the world, but
yeah. Well, I've also completely lost control of my VR hand, so things are going well for all of us here. While you fix that, I'll go ahead and remind everybody that we will be circling back on Monday, March 8th, 2021. That's right, Monday, March 8th. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps out the show, convinces the algorithms that it needs to share it with other people, and it's just nice. You know, it's just a nice thing to do. So please go ahead and like, subscribe, bell button, and all.
Subscribe, bell button, all. Like, subscribe, bell button, all.
That's right. And thanks to all of our producers for this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. That is episode 308. And my browser is completely falling apart, so I need to close some tabs so I can thank some of our producers. And those producers are,
You want me to
reload. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thank those producers for us, Gons.
Producer Maharani, producer Ashton, producer Martins, producer Ismail, producer John L, producer Allison G, producer Brian S, producer Saul A, producer Shield Labs.
There you go. And of course, thank you to Jade Bouncerson for the timestamps, and all of our artists and jingle makers who make this show possible. And remember, we will need producers for episode 309 on Monday, March 8th, 2021. So if you want to become a producer, go ahead, give it some thought, pray about it. And if you feel led, we always need producers for Canary Cry News Talk. So you can consider doing that by heading over to patreon.com/CCNT. Or if Patreon's not your thing, go ahead and head on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
So little on the screen. It's like that screenshot of Beetlejuice, you know?
Normal
He's sitting
Norm
in the waiting room at the doctor, and there's the shrunken head man.
Normal Norm said Basil needs some pineal gland.
So little. So little.
Tiny.
All right, everybody. So there you go. Thank you to all producers and future producers. I can't wait to meet our future producers on Monday. And remember, if you are a creative person, if you're putting together jingles, maybe you're doing some different character impersonations. Maybe you do a great Fred Flintstone, or I don't know what you're into, but whatever it is. Or if you're an artistic person and create some art, you can send all those things to canarycryradio@gmail.com for convenience, or canarycryradio@protonmail.com if you're one of those crazy people who doesn't like corporations reading all their emails. Either way, we can't wait to feature your work as a producer on the show. Now, there's like I said, there's a lot of ways to produce the show, but if financially or creatively is not in the cards for you, that's okay. There's a lot of great free ways to help the show out. One of them, of course, is by liking the video, sharing an episode with your friends and family, but you can also leave ratings and reviews. I will be reading ratings and reviews next Friday, and we always love it. We read all the reviews, all the ratings. And it's very helpful for the algorithms to share the show with those who may not have heard it before. So please head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and a review. And like I said, you got friends, you got family. They're starting to wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems. Even the normies are starting to realize that something's fishy around here. Go ahead, tell them about the show. Share an episode with them. Maybe it's this episode. Maybe it's next episode. Whatever it is. You will be surprised about how many normies will be interested to hear about the facts and figures, the real science going on over at Canary Cry News Talk. Or you can go ahead and share it on your social media if you like to make it easy on yourself. Either way, thank you so much. We call it rattling some cages, folks. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, you grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah, folks. All right, Gons, any last words?
I just want to thank Ark for coming on to the show, and we'll hopefully see him again soon. And thank you for all the producers. Thank you all the people in the live chat. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and watch out for those banana peels.
That's right. Don't get goofed on by those banana peels, folks.
Come on.
And of course, again, don't forget, head on over to destinylab.com. Get yourself some music. Great deal. Don't forget to let them know that we sent you. All right, folks. One more time, we're circling back on the 8th of March. That's for Monday. From Monday. That's next Monday. So make sure to turn on notifications, follow us in multiple locations, and of course, subscribe to the podcast version because we put that out every show. It's increased quality. It's a great place to listen to the show. Okay, folks, thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
People don't even read their Bible, for heaven's sakes.
Are you even woke?
This is the way.
You can't handle the truth.
Everybody loves waffles.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati. Flippy pot. That's where I started.
Light up a huge blunt.
A joint.
Give everybody
magic mushrooms.
Smoke.
The CIA, I mean, lots of intelligence agencies have tested secretly dosing communities.
LSD.
Psychoactive pills should be covertly administered.
Just put me on some, I don't know.
Give you a shot in the butt.
Fluoride, oxytocin. Get a chemical hug.
I did dabble, some of that robot crack. I know what it's like.
It's a lethal recipe for disaster. You need help.
If you're a pharmacist, you need to repent.
All right, weird.
Don't even get me started on bidets, man. Bidets, man. Bidets, man. I'm telling you, you were living the life, man. Bidets, man.
Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. It might seem scary, so frightening. Get ready for it. Don't push your button. Get in your spaceship. It will be over. Get in already. It will be started. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an invasion. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Now!
Poly. It's Latin for many.
Tick. Tick. Tick.
They'll suck your blood.
Polytick. Polytick. Polytick.
Many bloodsuckers.
Politic, politician. Politic, politician. Politicians are politics.
Don't let them drain you all away.
Poly. Poly. Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick. Tick. Tick.
They'll suck your blood.
Politic. Politic. Politic.
Many bloodsuckers.
Politic, politician. Politic, politician. Politicians are politics.
Don't let them drain you all the way. Don't let them drain you all the way. Don't let them drain you all the way.
Left wing. Right wing. Left wing. Right wing. Left
They'll suck your blood.
POLYTICK. POLYTICK. POLYTICK.
Many bloodsuckers.
POLYTICK, politician. POLYTICK, politician. Politicians are politics.
Don't let them drain you all the way. 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 Don't let them drain you all the way.
There's nothing to watch on my color TV. None of this news is what I want to see. I try tuning in to my radio. None of this talk is really quite the show for me. Finding good news is really quite the pain. Gotta find something I ain't got all day. Get on my YouTube, debates like the sun. See what's new, demonetization. Know what's this? To my surprise, I spot a big pair of googly eyes. Click on the video and turn up the sound. What is this gem that I have found? Canary. Cry radio, cry, news talk, canary. Radio, canary. Cry, news talk.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
People, I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on. a people zoo.